So who really want to move up needs to be proficient of the day. So if they get to that battlefield on Bermuda, and if they get the top 3 here as well, I think I'm going to be kicking off this day with a huge smile on my face, nephew. For Evo's Divine, because
four booyahs that they have in the tournament, it's coming from Bermuda. So huge chance that they can do it once again. If not, they can grab it from the other maps because, again, a week's rest, a week's time of doing those homework, studying your opponent. And we've seen that before. Bigatron Delta even mentioned that they studied how to defeat Team Falcons. And it's not just dependent, or it's not just for Bigatron Delta. The other teams can do that as well.
Okay. Smile on my face, nephew.
Oh, definitely, especially for Evo's Divine, because for the four booyahs that they have in the tournament, it's coming from Bermuda. So huge chance that they can do it once again. If not, they can grab it from the other maps because, again, a week's rest, a week's time of doing those homework, studying your opponent. And we've seen that before. Bigatron Delta even mentioned that they studied how to defeat Team Falcons. And it's not just dependent, or it's not just for Bigatron Delta. The other teams can do that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And we've seen that happen time and time again. Is Evo's Divine being placed 9th overall on the leaderboard, even with their solid performance on Bermuda. But then again, it's not so surprising when you are only performing on one map and then you struggle at a few others, right? Falcon and Bigatron, like you pointed out earlier, Neptune, once again, a super early engagement. One more goes down just with a mishap on the drop, just dropping a little bit too close and not having a weapon around him. Koja will secure the elimination, and Peter says, hasta la vista, I'm getting out of here. Will they be able to make a comeback here as Karoro drops Eka with his Mac 10?
Yeah, I mean, Karoro right now will need to make a few up close and personal, putting Team Falcons behind. One more will be brought down. Peter is quite far from the rest of the team, and now with 69 HP. So let's see Inu DEIXA right now, trading shot on Peter, and there you have it. Only one remains for Team Falcon.
Yeah, Bigatron Delta, as usual, bro, just farming on Falcons. If I cannot beat the rest of the competition, it's okay. I will just collect all of my points off of, and that has been the winning factor for Bigatron Delta so far, right? 4 booyahs, but a majority of their points come through elimination. 323 points thus far, and I think Falcons alone.
I mean, every time they meet, even the revive that's happening from Team Falcons, they are still being hunted by Bigatron Delta, and this is what I'm talking about. The revive into one more, and then first eliminated. Koja finishing touch with an XM8, and Team Falcons out of the game. Map number 1.
Yeah, Bigatron Delta, bow down to the Falcons. Thank you for the 5 points early game on Bermuda. I mean, beautiful stuff once again from the Indonesian squad. But of course, speaking of Indonesia, it's not just all Bigatron. Onyx Olympus now being pursued by Hua. And this is the team that performed super well on week 1 and then has been an absolute disappointment to me. Hua, if there's a good time to make a comeback, now is the time. Back on this Hua bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, in the 10th spot right now, they are comfortable, but not too comfortable that the other teams will let them go. Hawaii Sports will try to put a little pressure, and Onyx Olympus really is doing quite well in terms of getting themselves in position towards the final map, or final circle of the map. But Hawaii cautious as well, because once they take so much time in trying to beat down a different team, then that brings in another to their compound. And speaking of another, we find as well, just with mine together with Onyx Olympus, these were the target of Hawaii Sports earlier.
Yeah, Hawaii Sports, they just chased the players off the side of Onyx Olympus straight towards what should have been their potential final resting ground. But unfortunately, it was the act from the back, and now being forced to scramble out there in the open. Onyx Olympus will escape with just a few scratches on them. But is this going to put us in a two-way fight? Evo's Divine focusing with Minds first, and it looks like Onyx Olympus will find an opportunity for recovery.
Yeah, and Onyx Olympus is getting back into play against Evo's Divine, and that's what we're talking about. Multiple eliminations. Evo's Divine, 5 already on their side, still on the chase and on the hunt. Riptide Rhythm doesn't do so much because the backup is there for Evo's Divine.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Onyx Olympus is going to get a breath of fresh air here. They're going to be like, okay, Twisted Minds, you take care of our brothers from Indonesia. We're backing away first. He had different plans here. 6 eliminations already, making that 7. God, Magari, and it is a double tag onto it. My goodness, Gary turns the situation around, but Apex was there for the backup. AimGod gets picked right back up. That could have been so bad for AimGod just moments ago.
And that's the thing. I mean, Evo's Divine knows when to bring a backup. Even if that happens, that a different player from Evo's Divine has an opponent on his hand, they might be going in towards AimGod, thus helping them out. And that's why they are so proficient in this map, identifying where the other teams will be running through once they beat them down. That's what they're doing right now. But let's see how well GOW can fight against RRQ. And RRQ, again, this season, a different monster overall.
Oh, I mean, and I love to see that, right? Give the Thai players a little bit of competition out there. And that's not a request many teams can accept and say, okay, AJ, no problem, we'll get the job done. My God, they have not done it once, twice, multiple times now. The team that's leading the fray, 11 booyahs in hand of booyahs in the competition. Very, very impressive. But of course, as usual, Buriram outshining them. It, I guess, will not matter as long as they find a way to pull a super booyah run on them in Jakarta.
Yeah, it's not the first time that they did multiple booyahs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had a 4 booyah day. And
almost 5.
Almost 5, yeah. I mean, it's not far from happening. But we're talking about Buriram United. We know, you know how high and how can put in one day from the previous season. That's 5 times they got it in a day, and that's just one. That's twice that they've done it. So Buriram United, really, they are a tough cookie to bite off. But DEIXA right now bringing back to praise as WAG slowly being put down.
Yeah, beautiful stuff here from Axel. That Skylar's pop of the Riptide rhythm as well as the connection. But now with the Bison, can he find a circle around? Yes, he can. As Mickett backs him up as well with the Drogon. WAG being mowed down to the ground. Allen goes down as well. Come on, Expand. Don't kick them out. I was betting on them.
Well, X-Men really was motivated after about. They really need to move up, though. They really need to move up at the bottom of the leaderboard. That's nowhere that we are expecting X-Men from the previous season, even up until now. But it's just showing up. Probably today is the day that they can change that. They change their pace, but 175 to reach top 12. That's a lot.
It depends who you are. It depends who you are when you say that's a lot, right? For Expand, yeah, I guess you're most definitely right. Gardu, does he eat a triple grenade? Kabi, he doesn't need to eat the grenade at all. Hans catches him on that circle around, goes in for the loot, and that's just dirty play from Get Nice. The rest of his team members doing the work, and he enjoys the loot.
I mean, let's see if the other players will reap up the benefit of Get Nice doing some work, but Get Nice right now trying to move away in smokes, not yet down and still alive. And that is good distraction, though, to lure Evo's Divine in, and might be beat down by Heavy, but the rest of the team, I guess this is payback. Okay, you get our loot, we will leave you behind.
Heavy says, you do something with all of that loot, okay? We are out of here. But Bigatron Delta continuing their onslaught. This in the battlefield, Onyx Olympus being forced to scramble by their brothers Bigatron. 6 eliminations strong now. And they say when it is this sort of a combination, even after the midway mark, it just seems to be this combination brings out the best in Indonesia.
Definitely. I mean, Bigatron right now, I guess this might also be a key. The aggression of Bigatron Delta showing up in every map, especially when Team Falcon is involved, carries over how it worked with Team Falcon. But right now, Malaysia against Malaysia. Expand and Todak. Is it a 2v3 situation? But Traps has been taken down.
Oh my, that was such a great sidestep from Achap, getting away from them from the longest of time. But I thought Kichi would be able to back him up from afar. Doesn't seem to be the case. Now a 2v1. Kichi, Trogon in hand, tries to take Raja out of the equation. Backstabbed by 7 and his Bison, and Expand once again a little bit too early. They exit back to the lobby.
Now, these two teams, Sodak and Expand, that they have been chasing each other in the early parts of each map, they're always brought down that easily, and it's still happening right now, even if they move out of their drop zone. But GOW right now going in away from the area where Bigatron as well as other teams are into the fray, where Twisted Mind and probably Evo's Divine has sights.
Yeah, Bigatron Delta almost ran into RRQ, saw GOW flying through the air and said, no, I want that birdie instead. And are now flanking towards that left-hand side, still outside the circle. They're going to be challenging circle number 3's damage in a moment. And if they are going to be gate-kept by GOW, this is going to be absolutely severe to deal with for Bigatron. But it looks like they are going to be able to burst straight into this next circle. Still on hot pursuit, looking for those points off of GOW. But GOW is going to be leading them straight into some mayhem here. Massacre awaits Bigatron Delta potentially, and they get to continue the battle up against Twisted Minds that was kind in the day.
Yeah, well, we'll see how will that work, because they use binocular and spotted one from Twisted Mind, and that might have been have them baited towards that area, not knowing that it's a complete squad. So they are being cautious right now, especially as they know that GLW is also in compound. But Evo's Divine, a little bit too much on it's a little too much on their preparation, thus they have a bigger compound to play with.
My goodness, this is what I love and hate about a good game of Free Fire, man. Lots of revivals, but too many players in circle number 4. This is about to become absolute mayhem. And the only reason why I hate this is because sometimes, you know, you're out there, you're thinking a team's going to get it done, and then they're halfway through a battle, and then 3 other teams show up to jump into the chaos as well. Here comes Twisted Minds now in an open engagement up against EVOS Divine, leading the fray with the most number of eliminations in the lobby. But Twisted Minds says not just yet, because they were leading them out and away, too far away from their defensive comfort. And they're just going to be camping behind first, waiting for EVOS Divine to make a move. And EVOS says, no problem. They take the fight, and Nameless gets away with a skin in his teeth.
I mean, I guess the Cassie is something that they like Evo's Divine will be spotting and not leaving Twisted Mind to hide out in this compound or outside the compound. But Bigatron Delta doing so much work on the other side of this map that they see, and let's see if they can do more. And I guess they're finishing up. They are now the kill leader, and next up on their list, W. But on the other side, 4 teams are waiting. So it's been split up in half, and we'll have to see who will be breaking down once the circle closes.
I love the open drones out there in the air. The free cam shots are absolutely beautiful, just to show us the impending doom for some of these squads. And I think we also did manage to catch one of the players from the side of WAG getting taken down. And my goodness, as I say, that WAG eliminated in the 10th spot. Unfortunate for the squad. Wait and see exactly what will happen moments later in game number 2. Twisted Minds finally will have EVOS Divine knocking down on their doors, catching Saming from the back. Nobody can save him just yet. Diamond stayed back. Nameless making one mistake, turns his back. Ray punishes him with the Trogon, and Twisted Minds just being absolutely crushed by EVOS Divine.
This is something you are not expecting from Twisted Mind, running away from a fight, especially when Evo's Divine is the one on the chase. Apex goes down though, and let's see if he will be picked up. Ray trying to avoid that, and good placement on blue wall, cutting the approach of the enemy team. But in a few seconds, they might be in a loss, because the zone will be closing in, and a lot of teams will be gatekeeping them as they go.
Yeah, such great awareness of the compound. You can see the players are not even thinking about their maneuvers around at peak. This jumping like they know it like the back of their hands. Sonic Olympus has got a crate and a good solid blue wall to defend them, and they back away, not wanting to engage further with EVOS Divine. It's just way too difficult. EVOS Divine just so situation like that, even though such a small space should have been the end of them. Toda now losing one player. Ice grenades make that triple courtesy of Hua Esports, and heavy dropping by from the second floor as well, pummeling down Team Toda, not allowing them out of the assault bunker.
Yeah, Todak right now is being hit by 2 teams coming from Vietnam, and let's see how will this work. Unless YE Sports will go in on the fight against Team Heavy, that might be the safer for going in for the rush. Blue wall stopping them, but 2 of the players goes down, and let's see if they can make it through on to the next circle close to them. But first on the list would be RRQ waving.
Yeah, a great plan backfired here for Heavy, as Kabi took himself out with that grenade launcher. And Onyx Olympus on the other hand, bringing EVOS Divine, but sustaining quite a number of eliminations on the outside as well. Get Nice and Viva still slaying away at these blue walls, trying to get into the weapon arsenal to get at the players of Toda and get nice with the grenade launcher. Pumps in two, finds absolutely nothing, but now being attacked from the back! Ooh. And the back's almost solid for Get Nice, but he gets sprayed down. Bigatron Delta, eyes on the backs of their heads. Vitan can't do much now, and unfortunately for him, this will be where he falls.
Yeah, he will be falling and Heavy will be eliminated. 6 teams remain right now. It's all up to RRQ to stop everyone who's rushing in. Despite of Bigatron Delta being the elimination leader at this point, they need to be dealt with by RRQ.
What?
But Sodak is still in place, surviving, and Arsenal has saved them in so many instances.
Wow.
Their chance to beat down Onyx Olympus.
Zairu running straight in for Jack. And is taken out. A little unfortunate. DEIXA, on the other hand, outside the circle. Riptide Rhythm pulls down his glue wall, and RRQ takes a easy booyah. Just the chaos, just the pandemonium before we reach the final circle gives away the booyah to RRQ. Such an easy one for them. Just looking for the best defensive spot to be in, making sure they don't get slain as all the other teams do the heavy lifting. This is exactly what a good read of the map brings you at the end of the day.
It does look easy when we look at it. I'm getting goosebumps right now because earlier when everyone else are battling before the final circle are already in there, and even after identifying the final circle, they managed to stop anyone with only a ridge, and also their knowledge that there's still a few teams that they can bring down. But all the battles happening on the other side, all they have to do is wait and see, and they wait.
This was a little bit of a surprising one, but this was the final shot. Bigatron Delta making their way in, and I actually, think play just before this. You see, when Bigatron kind of flew on in here, I was expecting Toda to hop on in there and finish off. RRQ just took advantage from the outside area, just pummeling them with shots. Sorry, I say outside area, but just outside of that fight. They were dead center in the middle of that final circle. And once again, always finding the best spot. But they were blessed with a little bit of luck this time around as well, Neptune. Because we've seen some early movements in the past that were severely punished by the other squads.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one thing that RRQ are prepared, and probably like it's a calculated risk for RRQ. They understand they might be first, they might be hunted later on, so that they take more of the ridges, the like natural cover that they can, and just save up all those resources for before that happens.
And of course, there was this one battle where Onyx Olympus was trying to get at Toda. There were just 2 players pummeled their way in through this weapon arsenal. And out of nowhere, I thought it was Bigatron Delta because of how similar the colors are on the logo. But it wasn't Bigatron, it was Hua Esports. Hua Esports jumps into that battle, attacks Onyx Olympus from the back, and I thought they had the advantage. But Onyx just so slippery in that engagement, they back away. Toda wipes out Hua Esports, and then Onyx jumps back in there for the fight again. I mean, what are these boys eating? What is their training regimen like? Because it's just so crazy to see. I jump into a battle for Free Fire. Okay, I don't know how they move, but it's just so insanely difficult to take them out of the equation. I mean, this is just the creme de la... Let's take a look at the interview and see what the winners have to say in a bit.
Kazu! Congratulations! Make some noise! Everyone, I'm Baby Lee, and I want to talking first with someone from Q Kazu. Hi, dudes.
Hello, hello.
How are you today?
Bad.
Bad? You feeling bad?
Yeah, bad.
Oh my god. Okay. Let me ask you. What do you think about RRQ Maal got the MVP player?
Gimana menurut kamu RRQ Maal jadi MVP?
Ya wajar sih, kan dia jago. Nggak gimana-gimana.
He said that it's really normal because he's a strong player.
Oh, it's normal. Okay. As usual maybe. And what's your target teams in the...
Apa target tim kamu untuk game selanjutnya?
Target kita main aja sih, nggak ada. Udah lolos ini, main aja.
Okay, he said that the only target from better. So if we win, that's just our target.
Oh, how about target in this week?
Gimana kalau target untuk minggu ini?
Nggak ada sih, semoga aja 100 poin aja per minggu.
He said that there's no really target, but they hope that they will get the 100 points.
All right, I hope so. And last but not least, what do you want to say to your opponent?
Oke, terakhir apa yang mau kamu sampaikan ke lawan-lawan kamu?
Ya, yang masih di bawah fokus aja sih, nggak usah nabrak-nabrak gak jelas.
He said that for the in the overall standing for the lowest team, so please just stay focused. Do not fight us.
Oh my God, I really like it. And good luck for dudes, good luck for RRQ, Kazu, and thank you so much for your time. I really like your answer. So everyone, that's our interview. I hope Indonesian team will give us better performance in the rest of the game. So Shoutcaster, take it away. Bye.
There you have it. Dudes once again on the stage and the interview, and I guess it can be better for RRQ, better than this, because we've seen so much, but RRQ has maintained consistently their place in the final circle, and this is the best that we've seen out of the Indonesian team. And no wonder why there's so much happiness coming from Baby Lee in there every time she's in the interview.
I mean, she to thank RRQ. RRQ has brought her the camera many a times thus far already. But it's not the only Indonesian team doing that, right? There is a crazy consistency in Indonesia. And Onyx Olympus has done it, EVOS Divine, Bigatron, and obviously RRQ time and time again. They're just proving that, you know, the only nation that you are shipping in the world of Free Fire is Thailand, was Thailand for a long time. Perhaps it's not going to be that way anymore. I would love to see a little bit of an up and down performance from teams like PE, Hua Esports. At least we have WAG up there now. But I want to see that consistency rise to the level where RRQ has taken that already. It's not a overnight sort of a thing, but it's definitely a possibility in the grand final. So for now, my only wish is for all of the nations to just squeeze as many of their strong teams into the finals as possible. Dream final week run. But of course, let's take a look at our MVP here as well from RRQ. This time, not so explosive coming through from Razor with his 3 eliminations. Under 1,000 damage out there on game 1.
And probably it's because they are planning to get placement before elimination. So, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that's something that would change. But so far, what they're doing is working to their favor. Or earlier, we were talking about around 48. Now they're almost at a 49% top 3 percentage just because of that booyah. And just so much compared to the other teams that we have in the current group right now in Group B and C. The only team that will follow them in that AG as well as Team Falcons, and they grab 16 out of the 49 matches that they played all throughout the knockout stage.
I mean, that's some massive numbers right there, man. 12th booyah coming through from RRQ. And like you said, right, placement points, elimination-wise, this team gets the job done. They can most definitely brush up when it comes to the eliminations. You've got teams like AG as well as Twisted Minds, both coincidentally from Thailand, who are much better skilled than RRQ, grabbing those eliminations out there on the battlefield. But as long as RRQ can get the job done of finding that final circle on the final week, on the final day, it those eliminations. So RRQ is definitely having the better end of the stick here. Elimination leader from this game, Aim God with the 6 eliminations, followed by Koja, Dix, Zyru, as well as Wings with the 4 and 3 eliminations each for the final 3 players. This is just game number 1. It was pretty chaotic, I would have to say, with 10 teams sneaking into circle number 4 and just massive chaos, right? How often do we see the end of the game before that final circle starts to move? It's definitely a rare situation.
Yeah, it's a rare situation. We want to see more because out of all the battle, most of the time, they are eliminating team versus team. But that really shows how well you can move towards compound, towards the map. And you did point it out earlier how well they move in when the 3 teams were fighting. It's as if they know exactly when to turn, where to turn, and how they can get out or in and out.
Absolutely, man. And of course, this is the standings, RRQ topping the charts. But Bigatron Delta, what a beautiful play coming through from them. 11 eliminations, 20 points in total from the 9 placement. Foda outperforming their usual self with a 19 points this time around, being team number 3. This is a brew from the Malaysian squad. EVOS as well as Onyx finishing things up at the 4th and 6th. But if you look all the way down, Falcons WAG struggling in game price, Lumina.
Yeah, definitely a huge surprise, something that we don't often see. But again, we are still there's still hope for these two teams because they're part of our prediction. But we'll have to see if they can change it onto the next map. As we look at the overall standings, not so much has changed for that number 1, but it's getting close, especially with how RRQ has moved.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of time, I really am not too concerned, nor do I put any weight whatsoever on who gets the top 5 spots, right? I mean, maybe for a little bit of dominance, you know, for a little bit of a flex on the rest of your opponents, you can aim for the top 5. But at a situation like this with a extended run throughout knockout stages, 6 weeks long, 3 days, I mean 2 days of play per team every single week, it's a long marathon to run in here, right? And I think just qualifying for the top itself is more than enough of a statement. Anybody that dominates at the top, I don't think it shows us a lot. And this is purely based on data. This is purely based on, right, dominating the knockout stages and then bombing out in the grand finals. We've seen it. So this could just happen to the other. Keeps the dream alive for the other teams who are not in the top 5, not in the top 3, that if I just hustle on that one grand finals day, miracles can happen, magic can happen, and I that's exactly what I hope to see. But of course, the teams that are in the bottom 6, they need to earn the opportunity for some magic first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot to do, a lot of maximum effort overall to put themselves in the top 12 and then do what you just mentioned. But it's easier said than like so many teams are putting having so much of pressure just to maintain themselves on the top 12 and probably losing sight on what they need to plan, everything that they need to do so that come grand finals they have it all planned out, and then dynamics can all throughout just make all those adjustments.
Dominators on this next map, RRQ, Buriram, as well as Attack All Around. Since Attack All Around and Buriram United Esports are not playing today, the top 3 teams that we have to look out for would be RRQ, Twisted Minds, and WAG. And I really like this because RRQ, WAG, we get a round number 2 here for the Vietnam squad. They got eliminated a little bit too early. A good map to make a comeback. They also have a Booyah on Purgatory thus far. So fingers crossed, that's going to be exactly what Vietnam needs, just to get a little bit of a smile back on their face, just so that we get to see Yutsel once again. This is going to be game number 2 down here in day 13. Let's see exactly what Vietnam has got in store for us.
Yeah, Purgatory, I'm going back. Purgatory is neither heaven or hell. So this might change everything on the perspective of the teams who want to grab that Booyah. As you did point it out, RRQ, they grab a Booyah on that map number 1. This is another map that they're very proficient in, 4 Booyahs overall, all throughout the knockout stage, and they have taken an average of almost 20 points for every map. So there's a huge chance they can grab again, unless they are being taken down, as you mentioned, by Twisted Mind, who need to step up.
Yeah, see exactly who takes the hot drop. RRQ and Falcons. That's a little bit too close to each other for my liking. Central and Fire Brigade is going to turn. Megatron Delta will avoid all conflict with the other teams as they take the drop in campsite. Toda versus Expand should be a thing shortly, as WAG just drops onto cross scattered. So it looks like the weather here at Purgatory has got a little bit of chaos in store for us as Axel starts things off with the hot shots.
I mean, there's a usual hot drop that has been happening, Expand and Todak. But let's see, WAG has dropped in onto Mikid and unsuspecting of someone behind him, but Mikid is still making work onto Alan, using that Tatsuya to be able to go in on the rotate, but still manage to pull off a glue wall on the wrong side of the playing field. Thus, he has been taken down.
Mikid out, but they do manage back. So a 1-for-1 thus far between Toda and Expand. A scout from WAG dropping by to check out the situation here as well. Cyrus only has a little bit of backup. I can see another WAG player approaching him from the back as well on that revival point. EVOS Divine, on the other hand, right down on the ground, bleeding out as heavy attack. Get nice, but a very nice drop. Aim got out, Ray down, ABAX the final one. Pocket market isn't going to help you. It's expensive now to bring your players back in here. And ABAX, this might just be the end. EVOS Divine down and out in 12.
Well, the best team in Muta has been taken down early in Purgatory, and thus, again, going back to the point that you don't need to be best in or good in only one map. You need to be best at least 3 to be like Rhythm United and RRQ. So let's see if that works. Huawei Sports right now doing some work onto Onyx Olympus, who's trying to get away on a vehicle, but didn't manage to go that far.
Yeah, very happy to see the AC-80 back in action here. Ever since that buff for... And you just absolutely love grenades like that. Beautiful one taken. And now Huawei Sports, they look to strike the critical one up against Onyx Olympus to take them out of the equation. Death wrapping around from the right-hand side, backed up by Quem. Yanbin Enshin on that left-hand flank. But of course, Quem will be able to find a double connection, but his opponent has got that AC-80 in hand as well. Huawei Sports needs to be really careful on this approach.
Yeah, Huawei Sports going in on a 3-1 split. Not really going aggressively, but out in the open, Onyx Olympus might spot them out, especially with Jack. Might not be moving. No healing happening, and he will be taken down. Quem almost missed that, and will be putting him down. Jet will be Jack in the box right there.
Yep, you are not scaring anyone, says guy appeared out of nowhere, but as quickly as he appeared, he disappeared from the map. Huawei Sports making sure of that, but not the pursuit. They have picked off 2 points, and that's more than enough, they say. We'll allow them to survive for a little bit more as we rush on over to the other side of the map. The last one is a little bit of a revenge strategy. We've seen so many times teams being baited in by a squad only to end up in a 2-way battle as the squad they pursue gets... And obviously Huawei Sports is too smart for that after 4 weeks of gameplay.
I mean, it's 4 weeks of being put down because of it's just like that.
3 weeks of being tortured, 1 week of doing well.
All right, going back to the Battle of Indonesia and Thailand, it's not BTR right now who's challenging Team Falcons. It is RRQ. So let's see how well RRQ can fight this back, because this is a proof that there's this one proof that they can make it onto the final, especially if not make it onto that stage. But RRQ away, going in onto the flank with Maal, a 3-way move onto the left, but missing that turn, going in for a pinch in the base. Still,
they almost got it though, just missing that one by just 1 pump out of the Trogon. Now flanking around from the right hand side, RRQ sticking together as they all work that Awakened Andrew that has been, I wouldn't say nerfed, but you have to stick together. Just a 15-meter radius gives you that defense. But RRQ, those extra bit of defense is just not doing them any favors whatsoever up against Falcon's Peter. Try to break down this wall. And the Skyless Riptide Rhythm will help him out. Obey the final player. So he's not going to drop back in this area to check out what more Falcons can bring to this fight. Beautifully played by the Thai squad.
But I mean, it's not looking good in terms of a preview when it comes to the grand finals. RRQ is not like Bigatron Delta compared to when they battle on Team Falcon. So we already later on, but going back, Twisted Mind, a team that also changed their ways, not really going into elimination, planning each approach, but it is failing right now. Exposé will be backstabbed by Allen. 3 remains after revive by Off Diamond by Sam Ming. Let's see if they can get away from the hands of WAG.
Yeah, looking at the interaction between Falcons, Bigatron versus, Team X, whoever this Team X is that you throw into that equation, it's like playing rock, paper, and scissors. One is stronger than the other, but not necessarily against the third party that walks on it. So, unfortunately for RRQ, Falcons just will not fall to anybody else except Bigatron Delta by the looks of things. So if you are a team that wants to beat Falcons on the grand finals, the only thing you need to pray for is for the presence of Bigatron to be there on Point Rush and grand finals day. And that in itself should solve the Falcon problems. So, and you're talking defending FFWSC champions from spring, as well as the Esports World Cup champions, the back-to-back champions, Falcons. They are most definitely tough to beat in the grand finals if they make it there. So someone needs a kryptonite. Falcons needs a kryptonite. Thank you, Bigatron, for coming in here.
That's one thing, though. What's weird is they can bring down Team Falcons, but not the other teams, because in terms of placement,
rock, paper, scissors.
In terms of against a Team Falcons, but they're very, very close. Very close to each other. Well,
52 points close.
52 points. It might be overestimate for if we compare it to other teams, but it's very close within a day. So Bigatron Delta, if they continue that with Team Falcons, they might bring them down to like 8th spot or probably 9th spot, and we might see a different Team Falcons, a grand final worthy.
Goes with a double! All thanks to the grenade launcher, sharpshooter this man is. And Toda did not expect that, but my goodness, here comes that rematch as Bigatron Delta once again catches the boys of Falcons on there. Eagle, everybody ganging up on them, and Falcons are out. That's the rock, paper, scissors we talk about.
And definitely, I think Bigatron Delta only studied Team Falcons. They did mention that they study how to beat Team Falcons, and that's it. They forgot about everyone else, and it is showing up right now.
I told you, bro. I told you, man. So wait. How many eliminations do they have? They've got 4 eliminations thus far.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, 300 most definitely from Falcons, bro. The 34 eliminations. This is a Falcon farmer if I've ever seen one. And some of these other teams really need to go and like have like a week of camping with the players out of Bigatron Delta and figure out how do you undo the Falcons, because this is just too efficient, too repetitive, too consistent. This is some sort of miracle we've never seen before.
Never seen before. Unless Team Falcons is not really aiming for so much elimination or so much placement point in each map, or probably within a group. So if they can get away from Group C, then that's when they will work, and Bigatron Delta is not there at that groupings. But Todak right now making work into Team Heavy with the vehicle. Not quite sure how long, because they are outside of blue, but there goes the run. There goes the dash, and Raja will not be running anymore.
But Heavy on very heavy revival spree earlier. They do not have the kind of loot to take on anyone at this point of time. They need more time, and Wings clips 1, but 7 will be able to follow that up. Hunts down on the ground as well. Finding those connections with the Woodpecker, but of course is able to put the smokes on the vehicle, and from afar traps with a headshot out of the Woodpecker, and Toda finds them against Heavy.
Heavy is really being heavy right now. Only 1 remains, and no healing is happening outside of blue. So there you have it, eliminated on 10th place, and Todak managed to grab 6 out of this. Now, how to get into the next circle without being spotted or with all their resources not wasted? That is the challenge for Todak right now.
Absolutely. What a beautiful play from Toda. Just this movie so well in that engagement. But you know, early on, it was a different story altogether. But of course, as we continue to see exactly what sort of chaos we get in Purgatory, there's a 3-way potential battle between Onyx, Twisted Minds, as well as... Ma'al down on the ground. Riptide Rhythm from afar. RRQ up against Hua Esports. This one is bound to be big.
Yeah, I mean, right now, a little bit before they go in for the rush, only 1 unsuspected managed to jump away, but still goes down. Will be at bay, and 3 remains for Y Esports looking for the final player.
My God, Razor out as well. Duts from afar. He tries to run, but he gets his rotation cut off. Here comes Death. He's got the AWM in hand. First one does not find the connection. Duts has got the AC-80, a little lead from another squad. But the question is, will Duds be able to survive? There's a sliver of health left on him out in the open. Even if you get away from Hua Esports, where can you run? Duds says it doesn't matter as long as I survive for the time being. He takes Death down. He blew Death up as well. TRCan dropping by to take him out of the equation. A good blue wall. Duds, can you protect yourself once again? Yes, he does. And the Trogon will be able to pull him that elimination point. Mikit joins the fight, and now Expand, scaring away Hua Esports, but bound to finish off RRQ.
Charge Buster is back in hands of Duds. It is becoming a menace, but before getting away, he will be taken down by Expand. Hua Esports managed to pull away, but they might be meeting with GOW in a bit. But who's waiting? Onyx Olympus. They've seen this done by Todak. Well, why not try it themselves? They might be surviving a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. But you know, once again, a play from Duds out of RRQ, just a thing of beauty. Surviving the onslaught of Hua for that long. before Expand showed up. I thought they would just save the day and Dutch would just pull off a miracle play on that survival, but unfortunately Expand, hungry for points, finished him off instantly. But now outside, quite a bit of traveling to do, and Diamond taking down Axel with the FGL. You gotta hate that gun out there in the open. And now the circle pushing them from the back. Twisted Minds on the right-hand side, but Twisted Minds, you got a warrior peek off that. WAG up against Bigatron Delta. Allen going in for the shutdown onto Ekal. Backs away. Drogon play, very smart. Goes down on the ground. Cyrus goes in for the save and gets shut down as well. Bigatron Delta, one more player as Expand gets eliminated. Bigatron goes for the finisher onto WAG.
And this is Bigatron Delta, and I guess the trigger for them being this aggressive is if they take away Team Falcon on the early battle. So they miss one of the players from the WAG. It doesn't matter. They have sights on Todak, and they might farm a few more if they rises up to this hill.
X-Boss still outside the circle. WAG, they need to find a way to survive, but unfortunately he can't make his way in because of Bigatron Delta. Ekal finds Raja from afar. Todak now just a tad bit hurt. That slows down their pace, and Bigatron Delta to shut them down, and a elimination stolen away. Cannot sustain outside the circle. Finally taken down. Twisted Minds assaulting here the players on the side of Onyx Olympus who have nowhere else.
Not only that, we have GOWs hiding behind the team who's hiding inside of this arsenal. So a good plan for GOW. I mean, they will be heard, like footsteps will be heard, gunshots will be heard, but Twisted Mind will not be expecting that it's coming from GOW, so smart move for them.
Yeah, this weapon arsenal is just so beautiful, man. You've got glass walls, so you can see all the action outside. No one can do anything. As walls, they have been reinforced. Bigatron Delta making it into the final circle. Let's see how they dance through in here with Hua Esports. They don't dance for long. Hua out already. 13 points strong for Bigatron as they wait for the party to start.
Party's about to start. Onyx Olympus has been eliminated. Only 4 remains. This needs to be picked up though because Twisted Mind is closing in. No picking up. It is now a 3v4 situation. And let's see if Bigatron can fight up against this up close and personal. Quem brings down.
Oh my goodness, they threw a barrage of glue wall melters at the players of Twisted Minds, and Twisted Minds says, you want to take down our defenses? Let's see you put up some defenses. They run straight at the players of Bigatron, crushing them as they find them one after the other. Now Koja, the final player left out here, and Twisted Minds knocking on his glue wall. Koja cannot do anything at all. 200, he's got that HP on him, but he just can't do much with the Charge Buster up against the numbers. Koja out, and now GOW, the final survivor out there with DN. Exposy down, a great stand from him, but can he go up against 3 players? Diamond will put him in the middle of the pack, and down as well as Twisted Minds walks away with a Purgatory Booyah.
Purgatory Booyah, and this is their 6th Booyah out of knockout stage, bring a few more in terms of elimination. And again, Twisted Mind is back, grabbing elimination after elimination, even grabbing this Booyah. They're second currently on elimination numbers, second to Buriram United. So I guess they just need some time to go back their usual ways, and they are planning and getting placement as well. So a different Twisted Mind overall.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Twisted Minds, they are hanging on with the rest of the competition here, mainly through, but their placements are not too shabby. This is, I believe, their 5th or 6th Booyah overall in the competition. So that's okay, but not enough if you want to be able to dominate the competition on that final day, right? You got to be pulling off, you know, a 5 Booyah day like Buriram, or like RRQ, a 4 Booyah or an almost 5 Booyah day. But that being said, with the 6th Booyah, they should be able to jump into the top 3 now, which is still as fancy as ever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, find different, like they've tried so many times to get themselves into final circle, so much more that they grab 15 out of the 50 matches to be in the top 3. So compared to the previous season where it's going good, what we want to see from a top tier team, just like Twisted Mind. But speaking of top tier like Team Falcons, WAG, we've talked about the rock paper scissors. This is what's happening when they meet up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We saw how Falcons made RRQ run away, and then we saw how Bigatron made Falcons run away. Just beautiful how these teams interact with each other. But of course, later on, WAG almost made it into the final circle. This was one of their solid maps, but they were just not allowed in. Bigatron Delta, they were on fire, literally with the eliminations, as well as their control overall on Purgatory, and they just denied entry coming through from WAG. Unfortunate for the Vietnamese squad, but I think they got enough eliminations just to kind of sandbag themselves in here.
Yeah, I mean, it will work for WAG. They might go down by 1 in terms of spot, but and they have that leeway overall, even the top, even the bottom. So they just need to be consistent enough to put themselves like in that specific spot or not even higher, because they're sandwiched by 2 teams coming from Group A. So let's head over to the interview and let's see what we have to what would they have to say for their booyah.
Tweet to the dead to the my, and this is tweeted my diamond. Yay! Lock and hot like a diamond here. How are you today?
เป็นไงบ้างคะวันนี้
ก็ครับเปิดมาสวยอยู่ครับ
I feel very good because we have a good beginning
Okay, but I wonder why it takes your team so long to get 1 booyah in the term.
ทำไมทีมเราถึงใช้เวลานานมากคะกว่าจะได้เกม
ทีมผมไม่เน้นบูย่าครับทีมผมเน้นเดินยิงเอาคิวครับเอาลิม
My team didn't focus on get the most the booyah but we focus on get the elims
Elimination. So that's why their team didn't get so much booyah, but in the top 3 always like that. And I heard that there are many Thai teams focusing on trying some new plans for the final round already. Did your team do that?
ได้ยินมาว่าทีมไทยก็คือมีการลองแผนสำหรับรอบไฟนอลกันอยู่ณตอนนี้ทีมเราเริ่มทำบ้างไหมคะ
ก็มีบ้างครับเป็นบางอย่างครับผมแต่ว่าไม่ได้หมดทุกอย่างครับ
Try on something but not all the things
Okay. Can I ask you something about the point rush round? Do you think how much you gonna get in the point rush round?
คิดว่าในรอบ point rush ทีมเราจะได้เท่าไหร่คะ
Yeah. How many you want? อยากได้สักเท่าไหร่
ครับผม
He said I'm not that confident
You're not sure that how much you gonna get, but I wanna ask how much you want.
โอเคเราอาจจะไม่รู้ว่าเราจะได้เท่าไหร่แต่คิดว่าเราอยากได้เท่าไหร่
เท่าไหร่ดี
ก็อยากได้เต็มไปเลยครับคะแนนแต้มพอยต์ครับ
Oh, 8 points. So it's 16, right?
He want to get the full point actually it's around 20
20?
for 2 days yeah
2
we
days.
help change the rules
Oh, already. So you guys can update the rules for point rush round in our social media. Okay, please follow. And last but not least, your fans around the world.
ฝากอะไรถึงแฟนๆทั่วโลกหน่อยค่ะ
ก็ฝากติดตามเชียร์แข่งด้วยนะครับขอบคุณครับ
Please support and cheer for Twisted Mind
Keep it up for Twisted My Diamond and see you in the next game. So now back to you, Shoutcaster.
Yuki's absolutely right. No matter how they do, they always find their way back into the top 3, which is a little bit surprising. Not the most dominant team out there, but Twisted Minds knows how to silently get the job done. And if they are this silent, I am pretty sure they're going to be a super big threat on the final week now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, very silent, still getting a lot of points in terms of elimination and making their work on as well. There's a team that has evolved so far from Reverse Red and now Twisted Mind doing so much. And I guess EWC has changed perspective overall in terms of competition, especially for those who have met before and after that, like that battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And they know how well balance all of the pressure out there from the rest of these teams, and they know exactly what to expect. They know how to maneuver their way around. They know what sort of hot spots to not drop into so they can avoid those heavy engagements very early in the game. This is the one team that has got a lot of experience under their belt, and they are not afraid to use it, right? Saming Exposi, Diamond Nameless, the performance not so great this time. It was not a massive elimination from the squad, just 8 eliminations overall to pick up the booyah as well, doing just enough out there, but not in a crazy, devastating way as some of these other teams have done.
Yeah, and you did mention about the Awaken. This
Yes.
we just saw what they were wearing in terms of character, and they didn't have any Andrew Awaken from their presets.
Yeah,
so I
makes sense.
guess this is them making adjustments based on the patches, and I guess we'll have to see if that will work or if there's a lot more that can be I say that they can get out of once it comes to the grand final.
Absolutely. And if you guys don't know exactly what Neptune and I are talking about, there's been recently a few character adjustments coming on through, and you get an extra defensive buff for each and every single member that brings in the Awakened Andrew as their passive skill as well. It still does work. You get an extra 1% defensive buff as long as the rest of your team members are within a 15-meter range, which is pretty difficult for teams like Twisted Minds to keep up to because of how they love playing split up on the map, right? I mean, almost you see players like Saming nowhere close to the rest of his team members. He's just sniping from afar. And situations like that just don't make the Andrew so viable. He does give you the base 4% defense buff. So, you know, it just really depends on what your preference is. But Bigatron Delta managed to beat the competition here to the #1 spot, Neptune, with the 8 placement points, but 13 strong eliminations.
How well they played it all throughout, and let's see how it changes their placement, where they are on 8th place right now. Still a long run to beat Team Falcons, but we'll have to find out if they meet how many times they meet all throughout this day, because we were not expecting that to happen earlier, but wow, lo and behold, we saw them after RRQ has been beaten. So I guess it is not yet over for this rivalry between these two teams.
Nah, it's not over just yet. I think it's going to continue on, not for just a couple of more weeks, but for a couple of years, by the way things have been going on here, Nep. But of course, we absolutely love to see this. But my focus goes back down to the teams that are currently in the bottom 6. And obviously, we're talking about teams like Heavy. We're talking about, I want to say teams like Toda and Expand, but it is very difficult for them. But at least Heavy, if Heavy can find some way to make a miracle, love to see that, right? They're not too far away from the 12th spot. But when I say a miracle, I don't mean breaking into 12, but getting at least up to spot or something, because there's not too many points between these teams, but it'll need a lot of hustle for the balanced 4 games that we have. But in order to see them do that, you got to take a quick short break first. When we come back, we'll see if Heavy can get the job done.
like you could draw around it. Can you circle it? Cause I can circle it. See something that you like.
Three, two, one, go!
Map. You and Twisted Mind grabbing that Booyah for the first two map. Let's see who will grab it on the next. Back on the caster's test, I am Neptune and Jeremy Garcia. Together with me is the one and only Mustachio AJ.
Heavy, 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 heavy. That's all I want to see. I want to see a day of miracles here to a Vietnamese squad, because there's a lot of potential coming through from Heavy. They just haven't been able to show the best side of themselves. Engagement-wise, they're not the best team out there, but there are times where they bring on those heavy hits, and when teams get hit with that, you know they don't get back up, and that's the kind of version I want to see out of this team, right? But of course, it may be asking for too much for 4 Booyahs back-to-back, but I guess maybe 1 or 2 out of the 4 will make me smile a bit.
Well, looking at the day summary, I mean, they are quite far from number 1, currently 10, only 12 out of 2 matches, and I guess they need to hustle it up, double time, triple time, how many times they need so that they can step over onto that top 12. Currently on 14, they have PE Sports in between them and Onyx Olympus, and that's total of 32 points that they need to work on.
Yeah, the blessing they have is you don't see massive points beyond them, right? You don't see teams in game 1, game 2 picking off like, 30, 40 points, which is just like game day breakers to run away from the competition. So if Heavy just wants to rise up to the occasion, even from down there at 8th, to jump into the top 3 teams in performance, it's just going to take them 1 booyah. So it's not impossible. It is very, very doable for the squad. But of course, looking at the teams that do dominate here, though, you don't see Heavy anywhere near top. You actually see 2 teams that are not playing today, Buriram as well as Attack all around, followed by RRQ. And if you kind of just leave things to RRQ, they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ has been doing so much from the beginning of knockout stage up until this moment. They grabbed the Booyah and Bermuda, and there's a good chance they can too. But following them is also Twisted Mind. So it's a preview of what we've seen in the first 2 maps. And let's see who grabs this number 3 map for today. And the next one would be Team Falcons, who, in the presence of Bigatron Delta, is not showing up, but they might be able to grab a few more points if they can manage to get away from the Delta team.
Yeah, play head-to-head here. 5 versus 4 eliminations between Diana and Koja. We take this head-to-head between these two. It's really been the most threatening team out there, and I would love to see them do something great today, because currently 23 points picked up and they're not too far away teams, right? But of course, if you compare them up against Bigatron Delta, who do have 41 points, 2 back-to-back consistent matches coming through for the Indonesian squad, it's going to be tough to catch up if Bigatron continues on this sort of a rage run.
Yeah, I mean, rage run indeed by Bigatron Delta. But let's head over to Alpine, where RRQ might be turning another Booyah at this point. And so far, they haven't grabbed so much that of more than 2 of Booyah within the day, which is the team to grab a placement point. But from what we've seen, elimination is what most of the teams are focused on. Cap all throughout once the calculation goes in.
Let's see exactly what Alpine holds for all of us. Hot drops, hot drops, hot drops. That's all I want to see. RRQ and Onyx Olympus might just be dancing the tango shortly as Stadium and Vantage. The possibility of coming across each other if the circle brings us towards base camp and docks area will be very high for these 2 Indonesian squads. But of course, as of right now, 0 hot drops, and I'm a tad bit disappointed, Nep.
Well, there is a possibility of snowfall between Todak and Hawaii Sports, but they know that already. Thus, away a little bit, or one player, though, backs away, and that is Wings. We've seen that happen from last week.
Yeah.
Last time they face each other, and Todak is all that can be turned around, especially with how well they perform from the early parts of this day.
As long as they are able to play that countermeasure up against Hua Esports, this should not be too crazy of a move coming through from Toda. Like you've pointed out, statistically, they haven't been a good job up against Hua Esports at Alpine on this super early drop. In the past few times they have encountered each other, but Ken will be tagged up by 7 and the XM8, and he does not stay to say hello to the squad. He backs away, looking for a little bit of backup in the rest of his team members.
Yeah, Traps have already moved up, but might be moving up to trouble because Hawaii Sports is going in for a pinch. Death right now is on Vantage to see Wings as well as another player on to the left-hand side. But 3 players of Todak is slowly creeping in, probably creeping out of this compound if they decide to. But no, Traps says, I want to rush in. I want to see who will be challenging us. And TR Ken is doing so. Only a fence or only a wall between them.
Chilling a little bit too long here. 7 a little bit too far away. Also used weapon the Trogon. 50 eliminations, 69 knockdowns so far. 50 Trogon. But Death brings exactly that up to Traps. And Toda has already suffered their very first challenge here, being forced to spend their coins to bring Traps back in. Shin with the XM8 still going up against Raja. 18 more HP on him. Will not sustain anymore. Raja goes down. And Toda, just like that, 2 casualties already up against.
They're troubled by Hawaii Sports, with Heavy is close behind because a lot of teams, or these 2 teams, are dropping in the same place. And Todak 7 tries to get away, goes into Garrison, heads in. Let's see if he will be able to gather so much coin for the revive and also give opportunity for the rest of the team to fly away to his side.
Heavy has joined the battle. And Shin is in a lot of tries, just waiting for that opportunity behind the wall. The Homer, very smart play coming, the A124 pop coming through from Shin. And he detects those players, instantly slowing them down to give himself the opening to get out of there. Very smart. Will the rest of his team members be able to join him as well? Shin has backed away, but Get Nice manages to catch Kian off guard, puts him on the ground, and Twisted Mind seems to have run away TODA player.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing so much work out of this. Shin right now, I'm trying to think of the mindset of what Shin is doing at this point, because it seems like he's running away, but it's two teams or different teams that has spotted him. So it's probably a bait tactic to leave their remaining players behind, or like pull them away so that they can get out as well. And as you can see, two already on the map. One will be coming in. It's TR Ken, but we are not seeing the rest of Hawaii Sports into this mix.
Kyung will be able to steal away an elimination from the side of Onyx Olympus. Expand, back it away, make it a bit of sliver of health. Gardu, the one to take that challenge, bring it to gone. Make it can respawn, tosses out a grenade first just to clip him. Gardu from the inside range, asking Jack for a little bit of backup as that Cassie Bond running. And they are extra lethal up top, as well as Zyru will be able to find Axel. No snipe for the side of Expand for the time being. One by one, they crush them. Make it finally found once again. Mini Uzi will not help him out as he turns his back to Jack and gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, they have done the job. Onyx Olympus managed to take down 3 players from Expand. And on the other side, we have Heavy Kabi in trouble, being beat down by Diamond. So let's see how well can they turn this around. Evo's Divine is also in the mix, and Expo C trying to save him, or Nameless rather, and managed to do so. FGL giving them a little trouble, but there's still hope for them. Only one remains. Saming going in for that buy, needs to back away.
Yeah, player after player after player dropped onto the ground, but picked right back up instantly. But Evo's Divine not giving them a lot of room to think at all. 7 on end. TODA sneaking away, an elimination. Evo's Divine not going to be too happy with that, but they want to finish this job right here, right now. Saming down out in the open, but the Riptide Rhythm drops the defenses of Aim God, and the Bison gets him that elimination. What a turnaround. Saming with a one-man solo stand going up, manages to patch himself right back up as well. Bison may not be able to find the clip just yet, and the Drogon on standby. Abex also taken down. Saming literally on fire right now.
Still alive and untouchable at this point for Ingod, rushing in, only a pistol in hand. Let's see if that can be done once again by Saming, already in the vehicle, managed to get away but out of the next circle. So let's see if the rotation will work for him, or will he be stopped with the other players of Evo's Divine heading into the vending machine. Probably that is what they're expecting Saming to be in.
I mean, what a play. What a crazy Saming. 1v2, and the whole squad thought, okay, all right, maybe we don't mess with this guy. But Bigatron Delta now out of the open. WAG, they want a little bit of course, you're going to be able to stop us from getting to the final circle, but what if we find you earlier, says WAG, and they go in for the pursuit, and they leave Kyung turning tails, running away as quickly as possible. Xbor, as he takes Ikala out of the equation. Kyung will be able to buy Dix right back thanks to the vending machine right in front, and Bigatron says they are not here to play. They back away as quickly as they can from WAG.
Yeah, I mean, they need to back away. They are in trouble, and they will be moving out, not risking on the chase. They want to be sure that no one's following them, or no one will be in between them once they go in for that approach. Team Falcon, though, going in for a chase against Expand. I guess they have taken down anyone who's in Fusion right now. Slowly creeping in. I think this is a vehicle, depending on how fast, or based on how fast he's moving, that might be trouble for him. Exposé will be revived by Saming, as Team Falcons is also doing work, buying out some resources for them to build with.
Yeah, they've put a target on Saming. Saming's doing too much, and Falcons like, we need to get rid of this guy. All right, let's see you try, Falcons. Let's see you try. Saming is on fire, and I would have loved to see him in another bout. Next up top, with the Thompson in hand. Not the kind of range that anyway. This guy from Bigatron is all alone here. as Onyx Olympus makes their way onto this next circle to find themselves a decent defensive.
Defensive is something that they need to work on right now, especially as the blue is closing in from the second to the third. No one will, or someone will need to find a compound for them to hide in on those, and they have put up a bounty on Achap. Now let's see on the other side. Evil's Divine not yet done with their battle. Flying in is Abax in between the players of Hawaii Sports. This might spell trouble for him as G'day and Aim got a little too far.
Abax came out of nowhere to save his brother Ray, but both of them get shut down at the very same time. G'day and Aim God. Beautiful revival coming through from G'day all throughout. Sheen there just giving them a little bit of extra aid. One more revive just to be safe, but unfortunately brothers broke. Aim God goes down. We'll be able to keep the team alive at least for the time being as he flies back into the circle straight out to the weapon arsenal. This guy has got a little bit of an idea he's trying to work with.
Yeah, I mean, they are putting up so much of idea, like brainstorming on how can fight this battle. Hawaii's position already, as we are seeing struggles overall by the other teams. GOW in between Onyx Olympus and RRQ needs to be made right now. Will they go for the ones on the high ground or the ones in low? Onyx Olympus seems to be an easier target because of the loose closing in.
Yeah, I mean, and also beautiful strategy to actually fly out of the circle, take a little bit of circle damage, but get to the weapon ability of picking up a really strong gun there that may have just been left behind by another team that have opened it. Could just be really, really high. And when you're coming back on the revive, to sustain a battle out there on the battlefield, this could just be that Hail Mary that you're looking for. But now, RRQ outside the circle, and this seems to be a potential situation perfect for sniping at the players of Onyx Olympus and GOW, but that will put them at risk of dealing with circle number 4 that comes looking for them shortly.
Speaking of circle, seems to staying outside, probably in the edge, feeling that blue a little bit. And one thing that is Evo's Divine, only one remains. Dudes right now looking up to see Ekal from Megatron and Delta. Let's see if he can survive further, because that is nowhere that you want, especially if you have not met Team Falcons just yet, haven't put them down yet.
And Abex, absolute miracle for the squad, bringing back all 3 downed players, which means Evo's Divine are back in the game. And we did see him fly out to that weapon arsenal. He may have been able to grab himself just enough coins to bring back the whole squad, or potentially he could have been looking for that revival platform. A little bit of a pity we didn't get to see exactly what he did, because if he picked up coins, dude picked up so many coins in such a short span of time. If he used the revival platform, I would have loved to see someone use it after such a long time. But of course, the action continues. Just way too much of players out there as well as squads. Onyx Olympus up against WAG, firing their glue walls, and WAG says, nope, not right now. We need to look for a better defensive spot. They back away.
They back away. Let's see if they'll meet another. It is Expand right now. Only 2 on our sides. Axel on the other, but will be eaten by the blue in a bit. Alan right now moving from compound to compound. Ghost is trying to put pressure or probably poke into Onyx Nest, but let's blitz onto him, receiving a lot of damage. That's one thing that you don't want to happen. On the other side, X-Board goes down.
Yeah, the Ghost and Alan still standing here for WAG. Behind them stands Expand. In front of them, Onyx Olympus. And Ghost sending them 1 grenade of warning. Maybe you want to run away, but Onyx says, no, sir. We would love to welcome you with open arms. So therefore, they turn around. Alan deals the death blow to Achap. Axel taken down by Ghost. WAG, just 2 players doing a number on Expand.
Yeah, Expand will be damaged, will be hurt. Let's see if they can survive 1v1. Alan brings down Wicked Execution. 5 eliminations, or make that 6 elimination for WAG, and 3 of which coming from Alan. But to hustle, he needs to buy back only 200 on his pocket and need to do more. But going into the side of Onyx Olympus, this.
Bye, Alan.
There you have it.
Bye, Alan. Alan didn't even hit the ground, bro. Falcon said, nope. We are already here, so find yourself a better defensive. Took him out of the equation, sending WAG home. Out in 10th spot this time round. Crazy stuff. Get nice. Headshot Hunter. 6 on the few more for himself. What an unfortunate end for WAG, but it's beautiful how they turned around to punish Expand from Onyx Olympus moments ago. One of the craziest plays out there from the Vietnamese squad thus far.
Yeah, personal launch pad right now being brought in by RRQ. That was the dev of WAG earlier, but good thing no one's waiting for them. Todak and Heavy in the battle.
Wow.
Tan goes down, Hands goes down as
Wow.
well. Kami in the back.
Wow.
Now Raja, and unfortunate for them from afar, it is RRQ. Fought them and beat them down. Now RRQ and Team Falcon. This is a revenge, and let's see who's going to win.
I was very impressed what Todak was doing, but it makes more sense. It was RRQ. They were just shooting at all of them from across. And RRQ, obviously the biggest winners there, managing to take away a life from the side of Twisted Minds as well. But now in early skirmish before the final circle arrives, Falcons knocking on the door of RRQ, but the final circle finds the home of RRQ instead. EVOS Divine a little bit too close to them as well. RRQ needs to back away, but these are open grounds, baby. Zyru against Gororo with the Drogon will be able to blast him back to the lobby, and Onyx Olympus hanging on.
Onyx Olympus doing some damage and making work on Team Falcons. To go for the pickup, and Onyx Olympus still continues. It is not just Bigatron Delta that can beat them down. But unfortunate for them, they're also being shot at by a different team. That is Twisted Mind from afar. Even RQ is helping them. And on 7, Onyx Olympus will be taken out. Only 6 remain in the battle. RQ very tactically fighting that final circle. This might look like another booyah for the Indonesian team.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it looks like luck to any of those who do not understand the equation that RRQ plays. They have been at it for years, and this is the perfected version of the Indonesian squad. One more out there, one more for the side of Falcons. Ma'al putting that final bullet in the coffin, but no! Turn around by one more! Diamond interferes as well, but RRQ still standing on strong. Okay, a tad bit too close to them. Has got the AC-80 and Trogon in hand. Tries to take a shot. Abe misses, unfortunately. Yan been taking that high ground, but the circle is going to be forcing him off of the bridge. Hua Esports not reading the zone well enough to take advantage of that flank.
That right now being spotted, Riptide Rhythm being put onto him, making him rush in. Abe right now going in a little bit too early, a little bit too rushed, but the target is dead.
Beauty.
There goes down, going down from the hands of Abe. Still goes for the turnaround with no opening for him. Waits for it, dudes, and then managed to bring down to only 1 remains. RRQ very close for the booyah.
Absolutely, and there's no doubt whatsoever they are going to be able to pull this off. Chin too low on that HP, and RRQ whacks a massive booyah, 32 points strong, 20 eliminations in their pocket. The first one was a tad bit too soft, so they said, hey, okay, all right. You want more eliminations, we'll start showing. What a beautiful read once again off that final circle. And you know, it looks like luck, but that is for everybody else. For RRQ, they
engineered, they plan it out. They know how to change their luck, moving into their favor. And even up close on Team Falcons, they managed to pull away and letting other teams beat them down. And that's what happened. Onyx Olympus is the one who take down a few players from Team Falcons. Thus RRQ remain safe, and as they also have their second booyah for the day. They're 12 if not 13 all throughout knockout stage, and they're 4th in this map of Alpine.
I mean, RRQ doing RRQ stuff, right? Beautiful in terms of consistency from them. And the way they devised this final fight was just absolutely fantastic. First of all, pushing their rusher Abe up front. The Trogon hit really hard. The rest of the team members caught up with him. And when they were going in for the save onto the player Abe knocked down to start this engagement, they just took that backstab. Hua Esports scattered all around the battlefield, and RRQ just had a very easy finish, all for and always dictating the pace of the battle. That's the beautiful thing about RRQ, not giving control to their opponents at any point of time.
And that's one thing that you really need to work on if you're a team, to manage to put in the control to your favor, especially in the dynamics of Battle Royale. Because at some point, it might not end as planned, and how you adjust, how you react to every situation that will give you that booyah. And that is what's happening right now. Even for Todak, that is a great move for them. It's just unfortunate that they were beat down from afar, and Evans has been let go by RRQ. Thus, Onyx Olympus managed to put them down.
Yeah, and of course, Twisted Minds made an unfortunate on by rotating on towards that bridge and then panicking because the circle started to catch up with them. And by the time they tried to turn around, run away from the blue, it was a little bit of a disaster. I don't know what they were thinking there. Maybe they expected the players to rotate around quick enough so that they could be in a bad situation, but it just didn't turn out the way they were expecting. And, you know, you can expect the circle to ruin some of your opportunities sometimes out there.
And so many times. Well, like what it seems like it is towards their favor, it fails because the circle is closing in, and they thus RRQ. Once we've seen RRQ being on the final circle, then smack on or probably into the end, it's pretty much a huge chance for them to grab that booyah. But let's head over to the interview and let's hear what RRQ has to say about this second time booyah for today.
Wow, this is the second booyah for RRQ Kazu, one of the strong team from Indonesian team. Okay, right now everyone walking with Razor. Hi, Razor.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, since a couple weeks ago, you have the same strategy. Any other one?
Oke, pertama-tama semenjak beberapa minggu lalu kalian tuh punya strategi yang sama. Ada nggak sih strategi lain?
Kalau strategi yang lain pasti ada, tapi nggak.
Okay, he said that they definitely have another strategy, but he doesn't want to reveal it.
Oh, this is the secret. Oh my God. Okay, we will see in the grand final maybe. Okay, so what makes you got a lot booyah so far?
Apa sih membuat kalian berhasil dapetin banyak booyah sejauh ini?
Saya rasa mungkin.
He said that he thinks it's because the discipline in the late game.
All right, so I'm so wondering, how many booyah target during the knockout stage?
Kita penasaran berapa sih target booyah kalian selama knockout stage ini?
Targetnya sebanyak-banyaknya.
He said as much as possible.
Okay, are you sure? All right, last, what makes you sure you guys can get it?
Apa yang membuat kalian bisa mendapatkan booyah sebanyak-banyaknya?
Kami yakin karena kami sudah siapkan semuanya.
He said that they are very, very confident because we have prepared for it all.
Okay, once again, make some noise for RRQ Kazu! All right, good luck for Azor, good luck for RRQ because we still have 3 games after this. So, everyone, we still have 3 games. Shout, Castro, take it away.
There we have it. We have heard basic principles being put in by RRQ into the gameplay. Practice discipline as well as them putting up so much of plan, not even divulging what they are going to plan next. So that is one thing that RRQ has been doing and working on. I guess the other teams has been doing as well. Some of them also hiding their strats. So let's see if that will work furthermore in this day.
Absolutely, man. And of course, it's going to be very, 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 very beautiful to see an Indonesian team walk away with the trophy this time around. It will be a brand new flavor to the scene of Free Fire. I would love for Vietnam to shock all of us. I would love to add Malaysia into the list as well, but only if one of the teams shows us a little bit of promise of making it into that final week. As of now, it just doesn't seem to be the case. Toda seems to be the better one out of the two. Vamos and Expand still struggling to find their way to that final circle, find their way to Booyah's endpoints. But Toda seems to be miraculously finding that top 5, top 3 around these games these days. So perhaps some sort of a miracle for Toda, Neptune.
Yeah, it is not impossible. It's just a lot of hard work. And we know for experience that not a lot of people wants to do that hard work. So it's up to them to really put up so much of effort, again, maximum effort to be able to reach a top 12 starting today, even earlier, starting last week. That is what they should have been. But speaking of doing, this is Dutch right now from RRQ doing a lot of elimination. And you call this, you did mention this, they're working on elims right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's, carrying the squad heavy this time around until his nose started to bleed. That's exactly what he was wiping when the camera first panned to him. AC-80, the #1 weapon in his hand. You gotta be happy. He's gotta be happy that AC AC80 is back. He's playing this on a brand new momentum altogether. And 7 eliminations. Dude, this guy, not only is he a survivor out there in the 1v2, 1v3 situations, he also rushes straight into his opponents, allowing the opening engagement really to, and then the rest of his team members walk in with the barrage and shut them down, right? RRQ is a beast that you now definitely need to fear out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a beast. They know they've set up all their characters as well in terms of how they are playing and how they want to play. Thus, they're getting a lot of elimination. Aldo, I mean, mostly he's the MVP, but not so much, not putting so much in terms of elimination. That gives more highlight to the Duts and even Razor with 7 and 6, an elimination leader, followed by Shin and Abe with 5. And on the other side, Team Falcons, in spite of them not only showing up that much, one more is showing up with 4 elimination, part of that 5.
I mean, they've just stepped it up quite a little bit, right? Beautiful stuff coming through from the players here. Earlier, we saw like highest elimination 6, 5, 4, 3, 3. now that we just went up by 1 by all of the players. Obviously, everybody had quite a little bit of fun on Alpine. The elimination count was so much higher. We were talking about how teams were not hitting the 30-point mark. Their booyahs were around 20 points, you know, max 21 points out there on the battlefield. But this time, of course, RRQ said time to kick it up a notch. Mustachio once more in the 30-point range for sure this time around. Can't wait to see that. But of course, that's with the most number of damage once again making it to the highlights list.
Highlights overall. And there's also in the race for that Predator of the week. But going back to the game standing, this is what RRQ has to offer, though this is not record, but for this week, this is the highest that we've seen. 32 points in total, 20 elimination plus the placement, and Hawaii Sports showing up this time despite of them failing a couple of times from this day. This is what we're asking for. I guess AJ, you were so powerful that they are bringing it on.
Well, I'm glad Hawaii Esports is waking up in the competition once again, because mainly they just need to do this maybe twice, 3 times in a week of play just to maintain their top 12 spot, right? Very dangerously close towards the bottom now. They've kind of been slacking off a little bit too much in the past 3 weeks. So it's high time they bump themselves back up. I'm not looking for back-to-back booyahs. I'm just looking for you to be in the top 3, top 5 just to maintain the standing in here, because quite a number of teams trying to catch up to the rest of them. And Heavy now, not too far away, I believe just about 38 points from Onyx Olympus. Unfortunate for Onyx Olympus is still playing here.
And Heavy is not doing so much. I mean, overall, just for this day, out of 3 map, we are seeing 16 points from Team Heavy. So being a little bit too heavy, being dragged down into that place just above expand. But I guess there's a lot more that they can put in, especially the Vietnamese team are working on. But going into the game schedule as well as a booyah, 2 has been marked already by RRQ, Twisted Mind yet to add. We're jumping in to Kalahari, and this might be an alternative or probably an opportunity for Twisted Mind, because they are the best out of this group for this map.
Absolutely, man. Twisted Minds is the #1 team on Kalahari if you only compare B and C. If you add in Group A, obviously, as usual, Buriram will stick their nose in there once again just to show that they're the most dominant. They most definitely are. Very, very annoying to deal with. But of course, Twisted Minds, perhaps their side, and they've already got 1 booyah in here today. RRQ has 2. Maybe they want to match on the overall standings for the day as well.
Yeah, let's see them try and do as map. Kalahari has changed the pace of the other teams, or most of the teams, every time we go in this halfway point for a day. And this is throws up a lot of teams because of the change of pace, the high ground, the distance, like the open grounds for Kalahari. It just slows down every approach of aggression from the team. So let's see if that will still be evident once they drop into this flight.
We most definitely we kick things off here at Kalahari. The flight path will determine the fate of many a teams, if in any case it deserves a little bit of crankiness after a long time of being kind to us. Perhaps we may get a few extra hot drops that were unexpected, unplanned, but either way, Twisted Minds being the #1 team out here on Kalahari to take things a little bit strong. Perhaps a hot drop here at Refinery up against RRQ, and my God, don't tell me I called it. Don't. No, they're overshooting just by a little bit. All right. I thought it was my luckiest day, but they're just dropping right outside of Refinery. So very early engagement up against RRQ could just be in the plans here.
Oh, speaking of early, we are seeing Todak right now going against WAG on an early engagement, and 2 taken down already. A pickup has been done in 7. A good chance with Todak might be able right now, keeping his distance, breaking all those glue walls, but still not spotting the final member. It is Alan who just moved up. Timing is not working on him, but Traps managed to put down Alan 4 away for them to grab that elimination. 4 elimination already. WAG eliminated, and Todak making good work out of this day, moving them higher into that leaderboard.
Ah, my goodness. A rough one for WAG. Super early exit once again. They have not had a great day. 22 points coming through the first. You know for a fact WAG needs to start hustling if they want to get back up to the top. And we talked about how a very early skirmish between the players of Twisted and RRQ could just break out at Refinery. But Sa Ming dropped a little bit too close to RRQ earlier, and he got eliminated, forcing the players of Twisted Minds to go on a revival, which also means they do not have scouting abilities on Refinery. The engagement we expected could be delayed a little bit between the two titans.
Yeah, what we've seen so far in the tactics of Twisted Mind is if in case they miss their drop, right now the target is the maze. They got the drop close to Refinery on their way to the maze, so I guess they will be backing off to that area. And if you know, if it's Twisted Mind, if the trajectory of a team, RRQ might be able to hold him off, block them for any approach that they're planning. So let's see if that will happen as we look in Team Falcons going against Heavy right now. Peter a little bit too aggressive, a long flank being done by the rest of the team, and Heavy for the takedown against Hans.
And Falcons will be able to claim Hans, and off-screen Deanne will be able to find the head of Achap as Hans brought back. Heavy not wasting a lot of time at all, but Weethan right in front of them, and this does not look like it's going to end well for him at all if he doesn't get out of here. Get super aggressive just yet, so I guess that's a blessing for Team Heavy.
Yeah, I mean, Heavy right now can get away. Team Falcons are very, very cautious. They don't want to end up and meet up with the Bigatron Delta, but GOW right now on a dance, and there goes a Kechik on that, are going down from the hands of a demon. Now, Iza right now will be brought down as well. A pickup will be done, but Expand might be expecting another contender. It is Team Heavy.
Yeah, Expand trying to run away, but Heavy showing up in the most unfortunate of timing. But GOW needs to be careful here. Already, Demon spots another squad and says, nope, not now. Backs away very smartly. Onyx Olympus dealing a knock back and forth against Hua Esports. Death will be able to take one out and away. In the meantime, Heavy up against Expand. Doesn't seem to be going great for either one of these sides. A124 popped already. Kabi potentially saved, but Axel looking for the Punisher. He wasn't able, but of course he was able to prevent that pickup, and now Get Nice is going to be Barrage as GOW chooses to get involved once again.
Axel didn't get any signal from teammates, thus he was rushed in onto that tower. Now GOW on the chase against Get Nice. They will not be nice to you because Bigatron will also be on the other side. So it will be trapped. Hook gun being used plus a glue wall with only a few HP remaining. Managed to heal himself up. Hopefully he has more cartridge on that hook gun to get away entirely.
Bigatron Delta were taking the shots up against him as well, but GOW started shooting at the players of Bigatel. That forced them to panic. Using the jump pad, they quickly find the reposition onto command post. Great position held by them, but of course that also allows Heavy to stay alive in the competition. Oda will find a couple, making them one of the eliminators to look out for on this battlefield, but EVOS Divine has caught up now with the Malaysian squad. We potentially may be able to catch up with that, and we do exactly that. Aim God jumps on up to the sub as well. Wings in a lot of trouble. Traps already on the ground. Will be able to deny EVOS Divine picking off a point off of him.
That's one thing though. Todak has stayed there for since they dropped, and they have been in here being spotted by EVOS Divine. If they manage to rotate a little bit early, they will not feeling this much pressure, and they might be just finding a few more elimination to their side. But that will be worked on later on. They have split up on those jump pad, but Expand right now will be pinched, will be trapped by GOW.
Axel absolutely broke as the players on the side of Expand have been revived. Back and forth, they drop. No, it is actually T who helped out Iza from afar. Iza got knocked and T followed it up with a Woodpecker shot. And picks his team member right back up. Beautiful play.
Yeah, I mean, that was lay from Axel. That could have been an opportunity for Axel, for them, for Expand to take down GOW, but totally missed it. And now, with the rest of GOW coming back into play, it is Expand in trouble 4v1, but they might not be risking it. It is the blue that will be coming in, and T will be, pranked with that glue wall, unable to move up onto that second floor that quickly, missing Expand on that approach.
And by the way, we just saw the lower thirds for the pocket market, and I always say the Garena devs, the Free Fire devs are always listening, right? And we've been complaining about the pocket market recently as to how it just creates so much of chaos in the final circle, and they nerfed the pocket market. Thank you, Garena. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all are always listening.
That's what we love.
Now, instead of the first 10 minutes, you just get to use it for the first 6.8 minutes, so close to 7 minutes out there. A little bit of, I think, goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, all the adjustment right now is because of them watching and listening to everyone who's giving all this feedback. So for those of you watching, just watching, there's also feedback they can give on the community, as well as some of the votes being put in, especially for those on YouTube. As we look into Team Falcons going against Onyx Olympus, that is a miss on that grenade, but I think it's not yet over for Team Falcons.
Yeah, they've got the bird's eye view, and now they grapple themselves over to the left-hand side. Guy from the back, Aurora looking for the shutdown. And one more on fire. They each won one for themselves. Zairu down on the ground. Kororo going in for the finisher. Gary, the final survivor, might just have to get this done all on his own, as Zairu is potentially going to be finished off here by Kororo. I think they have missed the existence of the guy, and Gary on the flip side of things going down. Onyx Olympus just has nowhere to run.
Nowhere to run, indeed. And Gary, all I have to say is meow at that point. Now, let's see. And Team Falcons right now rushing.
Totally forgot that was called Gary too, man.
Yeah. Meow.
Kororo down at the bottom, but Peter, with the bird being a true Falcon right now, going toe-to-toe up against T, who has found himself up on top as well. Demon with the AC-80, but T from the back, shut down by a beautiful play coming through from Falcons, taking the eyes in the sky out, but Deanne, just with the sight, cuts off Peter's head. What a comeback. Kororo now back up, going in for the pickup onto Peter. And Falcons back on their feet. GOW could not contain them.
Could not contain, cannot get out. Let's see on what can be happening for the side of Team Falcons on their approach for more hunt has gotten away from the sub into the hands of Twisted Mind. Wings has an opportunity to surprise them from below, but it's out of visual, thus leaving all those damage not only from Twisted Mind, but also Bigatron Delta and Twisted Mind. The Todak right now is a trap like fish.
Well, they are a fish, and they're most definitely stuck in a barrel right now. Bigatron Delta, they want to eat, but it looks like these fishes know exactly how to get out of this net. They out of the trap. Bigatron Delta does not get their tummy filled. They're going to be a tad bit annoyed, but they do not want to let go of their high ground advantage just yet. They don't want to walk away from command post. They want to see exactly where this next circle leads them as well. We'll find out in a few seconds once this circle comes to a close. 11 teams still out there, alive and kicking. Get Nice finds Shin down on the ground. No gets that elimination as well. So it'll be quite nice to see Heavy in action in a bit.
Yeah, we'll be going in for the engagement in a bit. There goes Heavy going against Hawaii Sports. Tan will be left behind. Not quite sure what the plan is, but damage will be received overall. He will be moving forward, might be out in the open, as two players is receiving some damage from the rest of the team. Yanbin managed to get away, and TR Ken will try to move in onto the other compound. Only one remains for Hawaii Sports.
Yeah, spotted them out, managing to maneuver away from Heavy. And now this is a tense situation because I believe RRQ hears these gunshots and they may just come dropping by to check out what all of this ruckus is about. But the circle going to be leaving all of them high and dry. Thankfully, it's the circle number 3. The damage is not that high. X-Posse Saming down on the ground. Bigatron Delta doing a number on Twisted Minds this time.
Twisted Mind Well, I guess they moved in a little bit too aggressive. Bigatron Delta have their sight down for the longest time, not only that, onto Todak. So that has been expected. For Team Falcons, they are keeping their distance from the rest of the team. This is looking like an RRQ approach that might give them a chance for a booyah.
Falcon, 8 eliminations, squeezing them in. Heavy beats them to the defensive zone to meet Hua Esports first. This could be a very bad thing for Heavy because they may just be doing the initial groundwork for Falcons before Falcons arrive command post. So I wonder exactly how they're going to be finishing this engagement. Falcons just fighting their time just a little bit here, but I don't think they have a lot of it to play with.
Yeah, not so much to play with. The blue is coming in. Onyx is in front of them. And Bigatron Delta still on that high ground. So judging from how Bigatron Delta is positioned, Team Falcons might be their target of those damage being received from afar. We don't have any sights just yet, but that might spell trouble for BTR.
Riptide Rhythm disappointment right there that we saw. Thankfully, we didn't see who shot that Riptide Rhythm. Because we would have called him out for it. It was a double Riptide Rhythm wastage. And the guys still stay up top. Absolutely fine. The glue wall's absolutely untouched at all. In fact, it didn't even tickle the glue wall. This Riptide Rhythm, a double Riptide Rhythm. Expensive, bro. Those are expensive mistakes, right? But of course, jokes aside, Bigatron still will have a little bit of pressure to deal with. On fire finds Eagle. Kyung found as well by another player and off-pick each other right back up. I wonder what the inventory count is like for Bigatron and their glue walls.
Well, Twisted Minded helped them after jumping in and giving them some resources. So hopefully that's still intact. But as we look into the battle, into the circle, we're seeing 3 teams into the middle of circle on the containers, and Heavy is the team that has a better advantage in terms of numbers.
Oh, Cluster clips the back of G'day, but he walks away with his life, supported by the rest of his team members. Great defensive retreat by EVOS Divine. Heavy now work done. Kabi will be able to find one for himself, and Peter takes out the final player from the side of Onyx Olympus. Unfortunate for the Indonesian squad. And now EVOS Divine, they continue the onslaught. Kyung found as he flies on into the circle. Chaos once again about to ensue as 9 teams look for circle number 5.
Good decision making for Bigatron Delta right now, heading to GOW after being taken down. They head into the center of the circle. But who's coming in, knocking on the door of everyone else is RRQ. Let's see how much damage can they brought in. This is the first time overall that we've seen RRQ after all engagement, but they are still suffering. Goes down.
Yeah, EVOS Divine trying to take RRQ out of the equation. Bigatron Delta right behind them. This is a 3-way battle between the Indonesian giants. Falcons try to take, will be able to spot out Bigatron Delta, who has got the grenade launcher on their side as well. Toda chipping in those shots, and now a Riptide Rhythm from Falcons, courtesy of Peter. Fences off Toda. It does successfully shut down their glue walls, and now Toda out in the open, allowing Bigatron Delta to back away, falling straight into the crosshairs of RRQ. G'day still pummeling them with all of his shots, just not finding the connection at all as RRQ backs away from Bigatron closer towards Heavy. This is just a game of chess at this point of time, but too many players on the field.
2 players on the field. Let's see who will be receiving that checkmate. And Bigatron Delta only left with 1. EVOS Divine has stepped in, and Heavy managed to stay alive. But this is a chance to take down EVOS Divine. 7 on 7 eliminated is BTR. Todak slowly moving in onto 1 player of EVOS Divine. It's Aim God, but who will not be backing off that easily? 7 minutes. How long?
Yeah, EVOS Divine, they found RRQ, but RRQ says, bad for you, because pop they went and they took a player out of the equation. Now Expand, stopping the rotation of EVOS Divine from catching the players of RRQ, and they make them go in for a pause. Achap needs to circle around the right-hand side. Falcons clear from all of too much at all. They want to pull away points. They bring in the monster truck as well. 1 more joins the fray. 2 players from the side of EVOS Divine down on the ground. Expand going in for the finisher as well.
Yeah, let's see who will be finished at this point. Team Falcons has a better chance of eliminating a lot. RRQ will be rushed. Expand eliminated. EVOS Divine right still managed to survive, but RRQ put themselves in a box, and they might be hit with a nade, but they are not faltering.
EVOS Divine just proving to expand. They cannot be shut down so easily. And now Peter trying to take Vitan out of the equation. RRQ and their container play is absolutely sublime at this point of time. And the circle still benefiting the players of RRQ, not forcing them out of their super defense just yet. And finally, when the going gets, they bring the fight too heavy, shutting them out, kicking them out back to the lobby. Ma'al will be found by Peter, but can he sustain up against Razor and Dust? They come in from the back. Abe clips him, and Peter now down on the ground, but they need to pick Ma'al up, just super player for the side of RRQ.
Yep, and for EVOS Divine, Apex will be the super player trying to hop around, get away, but will be eliminated. Team Falcons right now in a best advantage, and traps literally trapped in that boulder as the rest of RRQs just receiving damage. Team Falcons might be at loss. Hopefully Traps has a lot of medic or meds on him. No! That will be the expiration of that glue wall. The rush by Keroro still managed to survive, but there's not so much of hope. Team Falcons grab their booyah at this point.
You can run, but you may be RRQ. You can hide, but you cannot run at the very end as Falcons manage to catch up, pulling away a booyah for themselves. Kudos to Thora once again making the final circle. Kudos to RRQ with their great survival play. Kudos to EVOS Divine surviving the backstab from the Malaysian squad of Expand and still managing to kick them out. And kudos to Falcon reading the map so well. The final circle played to perfection, managing all of that chaos, staying away from the bulk of the action, and then of course bringing in the final blow for a decent booyah on their side. What a great game at Kalahari we just witnessed.
Oh, definitely. It's a great game. And we did mention that Kalahari brings in a different side of Free Fire. And this is what we're talking about. Every approach compared to what we've seen in Bermuda, in Alpine, even Purgatory is different. We compared them to Kalahari, but again, kudos, all that kudos, even for those who didn't make it because they didn't lose so much in terms of points because of all the chaos. If they survived well that final circle, they might be ending up as just a feeder for the rest of the teams.
WAG just so unfortunate early game. Was just in the better position with the better guns at point of that engagement, and they managed to bag them out, kicking them out in 12th. Managing to make it all the way to the final circle just shows the fight that this Malaysian squad has in them. And obviously those roster changes have done them a huge favor. This is what you call a OG roster. The players know exactly what to do. They play a fine game of Free Fire, but this pandemonium, this chaos out there within that final circle, just so difficult to manage, and Falcons just had the better end of the stick overall.
And RRQ, I mean, it's quite amazing that they managed to survive. With melters, they might be taken down. Even a split grenade can put them on their knees. But no one managed to get that. Oh, they managed to survive in that third place. But there's no other better trick than Traps, because he put himself in between the glue wall and that big boulder that grabbed that second place.
Absolutely. You need to know how to work the terrain out there in your advantage. But of course, we have to bring the cameras. Yeah, absolute dominators. Let's see exactly what they have to say in this interview. In a little bit.
In a bit.
At the end of the day, what's important is we get to hear the beautiful questions that the interviewer has.
Landing from the high sky, and this is the representative from Team Falcon! Yay! Can you introduce yourself?
แนะนำตัวเองหน่อยค่ะ
สวัสดีครับผมนายรัฐภูมิสันทารุไน
Full name เลยเหรอ
so he's I'm Lattapum
สันทารุไน
Santarunai his last name
and that is his full name, full statement. Okay, so I want to ask you something that's very important, and I think everyone wanna know this.
เขาอยากจะถามคำถามที่สำคัญมากๆที่แบบว่าคิดว่าคนต้องอยากรู้กันเยอะด้วย
Okay, what scary you the most between losing the champion on Free Fire World Series C and your coach?
คำถามก็คืออะไรน่ากลัวกันระหว่างการไม่ได้แชมป์ World Series ครั้งนี้หรือว่าโค้ชคะ
อ๋อน่ากลัวทั้งคู่ครับสำหรับผมมันมีผลทั้งคู่
Both are too scary for me.
Okay, so are you confident with this lineup What is the difference of play style between this lineup and the old one
ไลน์อัพครั้งนี้คือลงตัวแล้วหรือยังคะแล้วแบบมันต่างกันยังไงระหว่างไลน์อัพครั้งก่อนกับไลน์อัพปัจจุบัน
สไตล์การเล่นเลย
ก็ไลน์อัพนี้ก็ยังเข้าใจกันไม่100%ครับไลน์อัพก่อนเล่นกันมาเป็นปีๆแล้วก็แต่ก็เข้าใจกันมากแล้วครับตอนนี้แต่ว่าก็ยังเหลืออีกนิดเดียวครับรายละเอียดนิด
อยากได้เวลาอีกหน่อย
ใช่
We still need to improve the communication between the team because we just start this lineup for the second half. Yeah, but the previous lineup was like we played together for a year and many years.
Okay, can I ask you some BTR? I think I can. Okay. Today fight with you and BTR is like a 60-40, like they win 60% if they fought with you. So, can you, how many percent that you have confidence that you can fix this problem before you go into the point rush round?
ก็คือระหว่างทีมเรากับประมาณ60-40คือเขา60เรา40คิดว่าเราจะแก้ปัญหาครั้งนี้แบบเพิ่มความมั่นใจกลับมาได้ก่อนรอบ point rush ไหมคะ
ก็คิดว่าทำได้เพราะผมเชื่อมั่นในตัวโค้ชของผมแล้วก็เพื่อนร่วมทีมของผมอยู่แล้วครับผมว่าแบบนี้มันก็เป็นเรื่องปกติครับผมว่าเราน่าทำได้ดีในรอบชิงเหมือนเดิม
I think we can fix this before the final week because I have trust with my teammate and my coach. It's quite a normal thing that we need to adapt and learn finals.
Wow, good answer from Team Falcon. Last but not least, can you say anything to your fans all around the world?
ฝากอะไรถึงแฟนๆทั่วโลกหน่อยค่ะ
ก็ขอบคุณทุกคนมากครับที่ยังเชียร์กันอยู่ครับก็ไม่ต้องเป็นห่วงนะครับเพราะว่าผมก็เป็นห่วง
Thank you for everyone that keeps supporting us and cheer for us. Don't be worried about us because we already worried about ourselves.
Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you worried about them? I think they want a cheer up from you guys. So please cheer them up before we get in the next game. Now back to you, Shoutcaster. We are ready for the next game.
There you have it, one more, giving us some worries. Not quite sure if that is true though, because we know how Team Falcons work. They just show up as like this, and then later on they change it up. But like to one of the conversation earlier as well, one more did mention that the swap in roster might have attributed to how they're performing. The swap of Keroro and Cougar is something that has not worked out for them just yet compared to when they grabbed the back-to-back championship that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it's going to hold them back from, some massive damage out there. And, to the question of whether or not we are worried, I am not worried about Falcons at all, man. I mean, these boys, they have got the hustle in them. They've got the mechanical skills as well. We've seen Cougar for the past years, and we know the guy can play a solid game of Free Fire. So not in the slightest bit concerned for this team. Peter, 7 eliminations, 3,653 damage, 20 hits. My God, what does this guy eat for breakfast? With the Trogon on top of everything else. And you've got strong players coming on through, right? Keroro coming in as the replacement. He isn't the worst player out there for the replacement onto Cougar. In fact, I think he hasn't been given the greatest of opportunities to shine just yet now.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a matter of adjusting to the game style of Team Falcons because it might take a while. They've been playing for years.
Look at the ellipse, bro.
Oh my God. This is showing that Keroro really can go toe-to-toe with team captain. That is Peter. 7 elimination just for
I mean, this in itself is the proof that he is not a player that's bringing the squad down. He's not the weak link of the squad at all. And it's Team Falcons. They wouldn't make for a player because this is a team that has got a brand new injection of life as well as support all the way from Saudi Arabia, right? So you know for a fact they are going to be making the best for their brand, mainly because they want to stay champions for the longest of time. 3 out of 5 players on the elimination leaderboard from Falcons as well. What a massive game they brought to us this time.
Yeah, I mean, they are putting up so much. Even Peter with 3653 in damage. I mean, that's a lot, leading to that 7 elimination. For Bigatron, I mean, Glue Walls destroyed. That has like that has been increased because of this Kyler being put in, and Onyx Olympus, well, Revival has made them survive a little bit longer, but not so much to put themselves higher from top 12. So as we even higher from what we've seen earlier, 34 versus a 32 from RQ.
Yeah, everybody's like, whoa, Mustachio wants more. All right, this man wants some savage action out there. Let's show him. 22 eliminations. Dude, this is exactly what we live for. Massive game from Falcons. And they did it so silently, right? They were not looking super lethal out there. They just positioned themselves in the best spot, sneaking away eliminations from the effort of others as well. And you can't do it easily, consistently without a great position on the battlefield. But it's not like they were sitting down in one for the longest of time. They were continuously rotating, being tough to catch, but always catching other teams off guard. You got to love it. And now 20 points behind AG Global.
And that's why I just noticed this. Just remember this. Team Falcons managed or didn't meet up with Bigatron Delta all throughout that map until the final circle, and it's not them who eliminated them. So I guess that is the key. Bigatron Delta, if you keep away from them, then that will be a chance from Team Falcons to. All they have to do is just do a reverse on what Bigatron Delta done against them. Just study how to get away from BTR.
Yeah, and sometimes in order to really remain in such top flight competition, you need to create a little bit of heat out there. Bigatron Delta is not creating the heat by bringing the pressure on the squads. Let's face it, they're not the most lethal team out there on the battlefield, but they're making a huge name for themselves by constantly taking these fights against Falcons, constantly punishing Falcons in all of these fights as well. So you imagine they make it to the final week and they hot drop after hot drop after hot drop. Ruin their chances. It's going to open up the gates for potentially a couple of the Indonesian squads to rip away the trophy, keep it in Indonesia this time around. And we're going to have a huge change. It's that game changer that could just throw all of this into chaos.
Yeah, that's one possibility. But if in case Team Falcons can counter that hot drop, then that's a different story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
We've just witnessed 4 matches overall. We're going in onto a last 2. But before we go there, we're going to have to step in on to break when we return to maps for today.
Circle it, cause I can circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it.
A little bit too early.
And no! Denied! Limit! Lord Nabuya! Game number 1!
ผมบอกเลยลั่นอ่ะลั่นกว่านี้ผมบอกเลยลั่นแน่แหละ
Dion loses that, and one more on the turnaround, taking the booyah.
ไอ้ที่บอกว่าศึกษานี่เรียกว่าฟลอปหรือเปล่า
I Circle it. Circle, you let me circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. Let me circle it. I'm like circle. When I'm hanging with my friends, I can circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. See something that can you circle it? Cause I can circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it. Circle it. Circle, you let me circle it. Thing if I circle it. Let me circle it. I'm like circle. When I'm hanging with my friends, I can circle it. I can find anything if I circle it. See something that you like, you can draw around it. Can you circle it? Cause I can circle it. See something that you like.
Welcome back to the Free Fire World Series South 4 Fall Edition. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia. 4 games are completed. 2 more to go on day 13 out of 18. Like I said at the start, time is very quickly running out. So for some of these teams who are still down here at the bottom 6, these final 2 weeks are their final opportunities. And not many of them are making the best of it right now. Even Heavy seems to be struggling, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for the time, well, it seems like those time seems to be flying fast. But for those losing, I mean, it seems like it is a long journey to go. Not quite sure if they're still going for the top 12. Hopefully that is we're looking at Nextera as well as a random map. So let's see as to what will be brought in on that map number 6. But let's check out the 13 summary. Still RRQ in the top 74. Following them is Todak, which is surprisingly, but I'm loving how they're turning up.
Hey, dude, this is a miracle that we were looking for out of Malaysia. Todak seems to be the miracle provider. 56 points picked far through 4 games. This is a huge difference in comparison to how Todak usually performs out there on the battlefield, right? So if only they can continue this sort of a run, there is a huge potential for them to make it through to the top 12 by the time you're done with our 6-week run. The most number of points Todak has ever walked away with through 1 week of play is about 105 points. But if they continue their progress right now, and they can, of course, bring this onto day 2 of their play, there's a huge potential they're going to be able to set a record for themselves at the very
Yeah, let's see who will be able to break, or other team who will be. Earlier, we just saw the top 3 for this map. WAG surprisingly is the ones in top, and I guess this is a good chance not showing up for the previous 4 maps. And up the list we have Falcons as well as Twisted Mind following them, both with 1 Booyah each. So this is, if this continues on for Team Falcons, they might bring themselves in a comfortable spot, not really caring that much even in the last week of knockout stage.
Yeah, top 3 teams as far as groups C and B is concerned. It's WAG, Falcons, and Twisted Minds. Falcons, you know, not as many points as WAG. Like you said, WAG has been that anomaly. They are the best team. And even if you bring in Group A, even if you bring in the titles like Buriram Global that has done so well on Nextera, WAG is still the better team in comparison to every other squad out there on the battlefield at FFWSC. There's a high potential here that they use this as that launchpad to get back up into the rhythm. Like we said, the points from the 5th place is pretty close. One solid Booyah can boost you up to be in the top 5 performing teams of the day. And this is exactly what WAG needs to bet on. And, you know, fingers crossed that is able to boost their momentum as well as adrenaline to keep it pretty high for that random game as well for a decent finish for the day.
And come to think of it, it will be Bigatron's put Team Falcons out, and that would help WAG move up, because it's only 6 points remaining that they have to go against Team Falcons. So again, it's not just Indonesian relying on BTR right now. Even WAG from Vietnam is relying on them to put themselves higher.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, I really hope and pray this can be done, but I just want to see that, just because I want to see yet another Bigatron versus Falcons out there on the battlefield. However that happens, I don't care. I just want to see that showdown once again. And I think Yuki was a little bit too kind with the percentages, right? You said 70-30, bro. I say more like 80-20. Bigatron has been able to bag the boys of Falcons, and that's exactly what we need for a solid to be born out of this competition. And of course, as we take a look at the drop spots of a lot of these teams, Onyx Olympus and Expand just a little bit too close to each other. Expand just teasing the boys from Indonesia by dropping at mud side, but pretty much towards that lower end where they are in shooting engagement.
Speaking of engagement, we might be seeing potential engagement Intellect Center between Bigatron Delta as well as Team Heavy dropping in the same spot. Let's see who first, but we also seen a few of the engagement. It's RRQ against Todak as well as Evos and YE Sports. So early engagement, this might give us only a few teams later on when it's come to the final circle.
Yeah, chaotic start. Vine losing 2 players at the same time. That's up on his feet. And Gadeg just cannot do much up against his opponent here from such a distance. AUG in the hands of Death has got the P90 as well for that close quarters combat. Gadeg, though, with the Drogon, the meta gun, and it is 90 that wins out that battle straight to the head. Aim got on that revival. Ray very far away from the rest of those players, but of course Hua dropping by to say hello. Bigatron Delta, on the other hand, up against Heavy. 1 player, 2 players go down. It's a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Kyung with the P90, but what a backstab by Get Nice. And the Bison gets the job done. Koja trapped out as well, and he will not do much damage with that Vector early game.
That's a 1-for-3 trade, and it's BTR losing in. And this spells so much potential for Team Falcons to survive a little bit longer if Bigatron Delta will be taken out. Only 1 remains against 4 players, make that 3 yet before the drop has been from Heavy. So this will be a full squad hunting down BTR, but still 12 teams remain, meaning there's still hope for BTR.
Onyx up. Too fast with the Bison. Mikid, a sliver of health left. He's got the Bison as well. Takes Gary out. Drops Gardu as well. What a wonder child Mikid is. But Jack comes in here for the support. Parafal, but a 3 stops the man.
I'm not quite sure if that's intentional. I guess that is. He targeted for the 3, so he will not be going into the hands of Expand. Though it's only 2 remaining for Onyx Olympus. They didn't want to risk, are heading for that revival platform. Probably a vending machine that has been taken already by Expand. Let's see how that works for that team. Onyx Olympus right now will need to also work on reviving one of their teammates, Todak, with a battle against RRQ and Expand. This is not looking good for the team, or one of the team from Malaysia.
Todak, great place thus far. Can 3 for the day. Can they be that miracle squad for Malaysia to make it to the finals after all of the troubles they've been through thus far? In this 6-week marathon, it's a blessing for teams like Todak to find this recovery after 4 weeks. It's beautiful. EVOS Divine losing Ray. Hua Esports leading the fray with 5 eliminations. They've got Onyx as well as EVOS to deal with, 2 Indonesian squads. And 3 points, Hua Esports will take it with a huge smile on their face.
Indeed, they are kill leaders, and they need to work on 2 players of EVOS Divine. WAG, though, has already done one of EVOS Divine's players out, and they are in good sights of Hua Esports. So WAG just need to keep themselves a distant zone, so no trouble at all. EVOS Divine, though, still putting some work on Hua Esports. Shin, if I'm not mistaken, is the only one remaining by WAG.
Yeah, you are just... They are doing the exact opposite of what you're saying, man. You're like, they can stay in the safe zone. WAG is like, no, we don't want the safe zone. We want more points. Shin is running because he sees the exact same thing as well, and he doesn't want to deal with that. Death, on the other hand, unfortunately, is going to fall as Abex circles around from the right, the left-hand side, and Death faces 2 players at the same time. AimGod does get that head taken right off his shoulders, and EVOS Divine 6 eliminations. Players on that revival spree earlier, but they're back in it very, very strong to pick up those points. Onyx Olympus, on the other hand, out in 12.
Yeah, out in 12, and let's see, and might be next on the list. WAG already making their way, 1-2-1 split, and WAG, the Ghost, getting all those information, but from afar, it's Cyrus takes down the Axel as we look at the Ghost heading in against Ketchup.
Can you get it done, Alan? Kachi by the vending machine, steps on out to say hello, but X4 from afar with an AC-80, beautiful shot. And that's the kind of team WAG. But unfortunately for Expand, it will be on their expense. Alan up top totally missed the player from the side of Expand, but make it found by Shin off screen. Unfortunately, Expand still not catching a break anytime here on this day 13 as well.
Yeah, in Hua Esports right now, I guess this is coming in from a revive, heading straight to that vending machine, totally missed by the team, but going into the other side, Twisted Mind, real Twisted Kodak, that might lead them on RRQ, but it's not that possibility unless RRQ starts the battle, and they might pull in Twisted Mind to their side, and Kodak might get there's a lot of dependencies on that gameplay, and a little bit of slowdown is needed so that they can plan it out.
Twisted Minds up against Toda potentially here at Boxing Gym, and all it needs is one player to make that wrong move. Span, on the other hand, still caught in this engagement up against Wide. A beautiful jump by Achap.
Double kill.
Executes him instantly outside the circle. Needs to play the glue wall as the rest of the players from the squad comes looking for him. They will want revenge. Twisted Minds, on the other hand, they turning down their glue walls with the FGL. Diamond with the Drogon says hello, and the FGL is the one that clips wings instant. Diamond up top, but the rest of the Toda players are off and away already with a jump pad. Beautiful play out, and there's going to be a little bit of distraction for Twisted Minds as Toda finds the recovery.
Good getaway by Todak right now, leading Twisted Mind against RR. RRQ can respond or will respond to the challenge, or probably put themselves in a position wherein they will not be found that easily. But Diamond has that aggression that might lead Twisted Mind, and the damage will not be dealt that easily as a glue wall timing in perfection.
Diamond, Drogon, that's backs away. Oh my goodness, and the bait and switch so beautiful from RRQ. Diamond has got the Wukong in hand. You want to turn into a bush right now, Diamond? Let's see if or not he will get that use. Is this a conscious choice the man has here for his active skill card? Razor up against Diamond. AC-80 versus the Drogon. Back up, but that's going to get caught with his pants down. The rest of the players all surrounding him. And the grenade launcher for the side of RRQ snuffed out.
And Razor right now managed to get away. Tatsuya dash, and let's see if they can survive. Razor goes down, and there you go. Malunggay gameplay coming from this Twisted Mind, and you know how you have that prepared already, AJ. Malunggay is being like Wukong, just showing up with right here. Everyone is giving up so much of like pressure in terms of using different characters overall, again, the question is that intentional?
I mean, most definitely intentional, man, through for Wukong recently as well. And I guess we just saw that in perfect display. Whether or not it will be a very viable, sort of an active skill card to play on higher level battles run in the grand finals, we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, it is for the pro players to show the efficacy in terms of selection for all of the skills out there. It just a skill card that he found out there, and it's like, I don't have anything on me. I might as well just use it. It could just be that situation.
And he used it just after the engagement. Oh yeah, let's just use it.
Don't want to take a risk now,
Well, Bigatron Delta ready to take the risk, going in for the chase against Heavy, who's on the airdrop, but might be spotted by Todak, who's just hanging back. But I don't think, again, this is me saying stepping outside of the blue, but or out of the circle. But again, another team might says otherwise.
Yeah, RRQ, soft boxing gym, Bigatron Delta already waiting there. RRQ, oh my God, Ikal. So dangerous. Doesn't even let him walk around. Instantly shuts him down and out of the equation. RRQ damaged once again. And now as we move on into circle number 5, Saming with a headshot from afar. M82B still as lethal as ever. Looking for the reposition, and Saming just giving them that information from his high ground.
Therapy on them just to make sure that they have a little bit of health going through their veins. The UAV will be released just to make sure that they have a good opening and no one stopping them. On the other side, WAG going against Hua Esports, but that led Hua Esports to split up into 2 different compounds.
And this is once again WAG, the team that we are all looking at to perform for Vietnam, but unfortunately wasn't the case. And X-Ball beautiful on the headshot with the VSS. Can he find more? As Toda sits right in front of him. They do manage to get the head, but not the elimination, unfortunately.
WAG pretty well this time. They'll be able to sustain because in a bit, the 11 teams will be meeting up on phase 4 of this circle. That is not looking good, especially with everyone taking compound. State is losing out on this area as a Todak will be left on the other side, and GOW will be taken out that easily unless the rest of the teams rushes in.
Yeah, impressive that Hua Esports is currently leading the lobby with the most number of eliminations. Is this that comeback that we were looking for as those manages to find a snipe from afar? That AC-80 fighting the beautiful connection. 7 out. No revives for you, sir, unless you're finding a vending machine through some. And no longer do we get these vending machines through airdrops. So everybody's just going to find those static ones out there on the battlefield if you're lucky enough when that circle moves.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of luck, it's not looking good. It's bad luck for the other teams who will be left outside, specifically Expand. Now, Bigatron Delta right now, insides of Team Falcons have been waiting for from the beginning of this map. Hasn't happened just yet. Will BTR take down the Falcons once again?
Bigatron Delta, RQ. All Falcons could be either one. We have no idea exactly who they are in danger. They've got a squad for sure, keeping an eye on them, wanting to know exactly how much do they have in terms of numbers within that location before they go ahead. Heavy finds that circle around, dropping straight onto Hua Esports. A Riptide Rhythm from across, courtesy of Bigatron Delta. Kabi down on the ground, and Bigatron beautifully played through that Riptide Rhythm, getting this advantage. But Heavy has that Tatsuya. They will back away, but Diamond shoots at them from the opposite side. Unfortunately for Heavy, they just can't run away quick enough.
Get Nice not really getting nice into Hua Esports. Heavy and Hua Esports in the compound, stuck between walls and blue walls. Nowhere to go, and this might be troublesome, especially with the FGL in play, and GOW will be eliminated. That is from the hands of Alan from WAG. Heavy though, 5 elimination, and there it goes, a nade by Koja from Bigatron, and only Than remains.
Oh, Vithan, how long can he hold on for his dear life here? Has got the Trogon, but pray nobody else finds them. Falcons from afar being sniped down by Nameless. And the Grows are used to perfection. Bigatron Delta eating a couple of bullets courtesy of Saming as well. AWM in hand will hurt a lot. Glue wall melters, courtesy of Saming, straight towards RRQ. Twisted Minds is battling multiple teams at the same time. Heavy finally out of the equation. Toda traps, taking the damage from the circle. Peter finding it tough to get into the zone. Karoro, you gotta run, but shots from afar. It's Evo's Divine. Falcons this time.
11 elimination already for Evo's Divine. Todak will be next on the list. Make that RRQ on 6. Only 5 remains. And Evo's Divine is one of the teams with a full squad. Let's see if they can make this work. BT are still struggling because they still have Yanbin from Hua, as well as one more from that Shin from Hua as well. But Twisted Mind, this lack of attention into one spot might give them more elimination, or they might lose out in so much point because they're not focusing on team one specific compound, even if they have the high ground.
Twisted Minds helping out Hua Esports, keeping Bigatron Delta at bay. And now Hua Esports being forced to get into this engagement because the circle starts moving. They want to take advantage. They know Bigatron Delta will be in a scramble. But Evo's Divine, they spot the hustle out there by their brothers from Indonesia. And they drop by not to help, but to shut them down, taking advantage of Ikal trying to break down the glue wall. But he needs more momentum with that monster truck. Tanks the damage from the blue, gets the monster truck into play, but finds no glue wall to break down.
No glue wall, no opponent, only his side, or only their chance to mine. Sam Ming on the shot, nowhere to find any enemies. Riptide Rhythm, find glue wall, and that is the hands of Bigatron Delta. Cyrus with a triple on that nade.
My God, Cyrus, what a player! And now WAG still alive and kicking, but Twisted Minds is backing elimination after elimination. Samming down and out on the ground, right outside the circle. Evo's Divine will look to put a stop to the team of Twisted Mind. Exposy bleeding out. Diamond, the final survivor. Evo's Divine says, we're not going to play with you anymore. We want WAG next as Hua Esports gets backed by WAG. WAG looking for the booyah, but Evo's Divine looking to strongly deny them of that opportunity.
Eagle right now onto the roof. We've seen this before. Will he be going for the medic gameplay? Will it be a little bit too late for him? There goes the jump, a backstab on Ray, but no, he goes down. WAG and Evo's only one remains. He still managed to go for the takedown. Will this be a clutch? WAG grab that booyah, and there you have it. Exploit is still alive. AVAC still heating up. Nope, denied.
But Cyrus,
no,
Cyrus wins it with the medkit. What a play from WAG. The confidence to be able to outlast the circle, sending the rest of the players to make sure the guy who he's going up with will not be able to use the medkits. Beautiful, brilliant 3000 IQ play from WAG, and they can dominate Nextera.
Last week, we've seen that medic gameplay twice in one day, and even in the following day, once grabbing that booyah. WAG, as you hope, as we ask for, WAG grabbing a booyah, and they might be going up one spot against Team Falcons, dependent on how many both teams has grabbed for this map.
I mean, you know, solid play. I don't think the round was massive enough for WAG to make a very big climb on the overall leaderboard. But this is what we were expecting, a little bit of recovery gameplay for WAG. And at one point, I was so worried because they were in a tough spot, right? They were being attacked by multiple teams all around. To be able to survive and then get into that final circle and pull off this insane play. Amazing. And of course, kudos to ABAX for surviving the 1v2 and very timely shots taken. But because those players were keeping him busy, he could not use the medkit, could not sustain outside, taking the damage from the blue. And of course, the medkits won the booyah for WAG. But they thought all steps ahead of the other squads. That's the beauty of it.
For the takedown on to the two players of WAG, we've seen the connection using that Kazi that really helps Cyrus heal up even before he used up his utility. So that's like the beauty of having preparing yourself with a better loadout, good character and use for survivability, but nobody knows that it will end that way.
And it was so smart of a play because WAG was out in the open. And they could have just gone down there, but they made that last second decision to rotate out into the defensive house, tank the circle, And you know what was most important in terms of that final deviation there is asking the rest of the team members, dude, drop me not all of your medkit, but just enough so that I can patch myself up continuously, and then you go play the distraction gameplay. And that was executed so well. You know, we always talk about this mobile games, Free Fire especially, very fast-paced. In that final circle, it's just all-out chaos. But to be able to make that decision split second, you don't have your coach in your ear whatsoever. It's just those in-game leaders just calling out those shots. WAG, I mean, that was one of the most impressive booyahs we've seen in a while.
Yeah, beautiful indeed. And I was expecting, because he was just on the roof, probably doesn't have that much of resources to go for the healing, because most of the time that we've seen that, you start off because no one's seeing you, so BTR can help. Before we go on, let's head over to the interview. Listen what to have they say.
Hi everybody! Finally, there is a booyah for Vietnam team. And I'm your MC today, Yunso. Welcome to our interview after the match, and congratulations, WAG. Right next to me is Cyrus. Can you say hello to the audience first? Xin chào Cyrus. Thì lời đầu tiên thì bạn có thể gửi lời chào đến các bạn khán giả trước được không ạ?
Mình xin chào tất cả mọi người trên kênh Huyền Thoại Sinh Tồn.
What an incredible match for WAG, right? So, from 1 to 10, how would you rate your team's performance today? Thì Cyrus ơi, từ thang điểm 1 đến 10 thì Cyrus sẽ đánh giá phong độ của đội tuyển mình ngày hôm nay là bao nhiêu ạ?
Mình đánh giá phong độ team mình hôm nay chắc 7 điểm à.
7 điểm. Những cái trận đấu đầu tiên nó có hơi khó khăn với mình một chút xíu, thì Cyrus có thể chia sẻ với Yusun về những cái khó khăn mà mình đã gặp không ạ?
Dạ, do tụi mình bắn ý và xem thường đối thủ.
Có đúng không dạ?
Đúng.
So, from the match today, he rated his team's performance 7. I asked him a little bit more that why in the first match they play a little bit tilted. He said that it's because we are kind of overconfident in ourselves, so that's why they're out of control and they are not concentrated to the game at all. So Cyrus, then at the end of those are very intense combat that you guys have fight, then who is the main caller and who is like the smartest person to put all of the conclusions so you guys can end and get that boot? Thì ở giao tranh phía cuối game, như có thấy là chúng ta đã có một cái màn giao tranh khá là hỗn loạn với hai đội tuyển như là Twisted Mind và EVOS. Thì không biết là ai là người tỉnh táo nhất và gọi là có thể là main caller chính ở trong đội để có thể đưa ra quyết định, và cả mọi người đều xông pha lên về chiến thắng và lấy booyah.
Mình sẽ cùng quyết định với nhau. Còn con chính thì hôm nay mà tụi mình giao cho Expo con.
Expo.
Yeah.
Wow. Vậy thì thường mình thấy là trong một cái giao tranh nó khá là nhiều điểm như vậy á, thì làm sao mà mọi người có thể cùng một lúc đưa ra quyết định nhanh như vậy ạ?
Đó, phản xạ tư duy.
Phản xạ tư duy. So the main caller today, they gave that opportunity to explore, and yes, he did a very good job. Team will together made out a decision so that they will play or not. And I asked them, like, how can you guys make a decision that fast? Is because they try to practice it a lot, so that's why they can practice their mind become better to making faster decisions. Vậy thì đến với một câu cuối cùng rất là đơn giản thôi, thì cũng đã đến, chúng ta đã sắp đến cái tuần thi đấu cuối cùng của vòng bảng này rồi, và cuộc đua này cũng đã đang chạy nước rút rất là nhanh rồi. Thì mục tiêu cuối cùng mà WAG đặt ra sẽ là hạng bao nhiêu, và bạn có lời nào muốn gửi đến các bạn khán giả không ạ?
Tụi mình đặt mục tiêu là nhớ trong cố gắng hết mình.
So they will put the goal as high as much as they could, and they will try their best as they could as well. Cảm ơn Cyrus rất là nhiều, và Yusu xin chúc mọi người sẽ có một cái trận thi đấu thứ 6 cuối cùng thật là bùng nổ, và hãy mang thêm một cái booyah về cho tất cả mọi người nhé. Thank you so much for watching our interview. I really hope that WAG can once again bring another game. Now, let's head back to the caster, and I hope I will see you guys in the next game. See ya!
We have it, WAG, for the interview, and I love how they did mention that they were overconfident, and that's putting ego aside. They're putting it in for feeling the game, going back to basic, and then understanding how to play it out. Even the main callers making decisions. Yes, they are making some changes on who calls the play every time, thus giving them more chances to explore as well as identify other opinions, other options to take.
I mean, that's exactly what we've marathon. of a 6-week knockout stage 4, right? We could have just wrapped this up in 1 week. We could have, maybe extended it to 2 weeks. But 6 weeks is all for these players to go out there, experiment as much as they can, and learn as much as they can before they bring that final week battle. End of the line. This is not the final tournament of the year. Everybody's looking forward to the Free Fire World Series, the world stage where we will unite everyone, the creme de la creme of squads. And if Alan can do this on that final stage, oh yeah, WAG is going to be smiling quite big. 9 eliminations strong. This man walks in here with the MVP.
Definitely. I mean, with that alone, I'm looking at how it was WAG on the overall leaderboard. And with that alone, Alan's performance, it has boosted them a little bit higher against Team Falcons. Though we don't have any visuals yet on how much Team Falcons has made. But as we look, this is what helped them get that. There's a huge change in terms of characters being used, Tatsuya being available as an active skill card, as well as that changes, that adjustment that has been put in on that Andrew Awaken. This is not showing up all throughout across the board.
15 eliminations, 12 from the Booyah, 27 points, solid jump for them. Of course, some of the other teams did hustle as well. So WAG may not be able to overtake Team Hua Esports Twisted Minds in terms of the day's performance just yet. And dude, they just keep adding on these number ones. The elimination leader just keeps stepping it up, right? This time 9 from Alan, Aim God with a 7, Shin Abex with the 6 tied for the 3rd and 4th spot, and Saming walking in here with the 4th eliminations. And I think, I need to see more of Saming and the shots out there. Twisted Minds are not doing as well as I expected them to.
Yeah, I mean, Saming, if I'm not mistaken, the early weeks of the knockout stage, he has been the predator of the week and starts showing up. Even in the poll that has been put out in YouTube, he has been a favorite by the viewers out there. But it's not showing up this time, probably because of the adjustment that has been put in by Twisted Mind. In terms of the gameplay, it's not giving Saming that much of a back away from engagement or keep themselves in a distance, keeping that focus away from possible targets.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they obviously have to send him out to get the damage done as well. And this guy is just so proficient at doing it from such a range where the opponents just won't see it's coming from. They won't know what hit them. And the Twisted Minds just gets to walk away. But 27 points for WAG. EVOS Divine, on the other hand, keeping up the pace, 25 points. Who doing one up here on WAG for the total domination with the gunfights.
And Team Falcons right now 11 plays with only 4 on the total points, where WAG only needed 4. That boosted WAG above Team Falcons, and let's see if they can maintain that, because we know Team Falcons, if you push them down, they will scrape up and put themselves a little bit higher. And there you have it, number 4 right now. WAG putting number 6, or Team Falcons to number 6.
Beautiful stuff once again, WAG. And of course, taking a 1-up well is very, very impressive. But the next step for WAG gets a little bit tougher, right? Because we're talking about WAG catching points ahead of them. 1 more game to go. Absolutely impossible unless they bag the whole lobby, which is not going to happen, even though you're the very top squad. But the most important thing here is, where does the random map lead us to? Are we going to end up on next step to back from WAG now?
Yeah, let's see if that will be Nextera or a lot of fantasy Alpine anymore.
50%, bro. Nah, I don't want Alpine.
Of the random Alpine. Well, let's see. There might be some changes, and this might be taken advantage by the other team. So let's head over to the randomizer, the map selector, and see what will be shown right now. And let's look at the circle. We're gonna circle it. We're gonna circle it. Kalahari.
Gonna circle.
Sorry. It was stuck in my head.
It is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for game number 6. And obviously, Falcon's going to be smiling a tad bit after bombing out on Nextera. Perhaps they can boost themselves right back up to the number 1 spot with another 34 bomber, or maybe even higher to do the picking. Either way, Kalahari was a very fun game to keep us entertained earlier. So I'm very happy that we get to go back there again.
Yeah, another change of pace after Nextera and Team Falcons. Like they have been put down in 5, but they're still part of a team who we are eyeing to be the best in this game. So as we can see, Brim United is not playing today. We have Team Falcons, Twisted Mind, followed by RRQ. But surprisingly, RRQ is, well, they're doing well, but compared to what we've seen before, if it wasn't for the double booyah, they might not be in #1 spot for the day.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ, at the end of the day, remember, we used to call them the kings of Kalahari. And this is the threat that Thailand brings to the table, right? They identified how big of a threat this could be when they are in Jakarta playing for the title at the end of the day. They didn't want Kalahari to be that trump card in the hands of RRQ, and they clearly have brushed up their gameplays here, right? Falcons, Twisted Minds just have got such great control, and we can see TAG proving themselves on this map as well. I mean, WAG and Hua Esports each have 2 booyahs on Kalahari. Everybody is trying to catch up to the gameplay of the Indonesians before they go down to their home ground. So let's see if or not they can prove against RRQ and every other squad from Indonesia once again as we head on into Kalahari.
Sands, the high grounds, even a hook gun is a good feature on this map. But let's see on how the flight path is going to go. But before we go there, I mean, Galaxy S24 Ultra being in the hands of these players is showing up that it also changes the gameplay because everyone is doing well.
Well, Exposy is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Alan takes that hot drop, goes, gets that warning distress call from Alan, and he's slowly trying to adjust his drop spot closer. Exposy finding the gun first, goes backing Alan up. This is going to be a very crazy engagement early on for WAG, but we'll catch up with them in a little bit. And Alan does manage to take Exposy out, and Saming brings him back in. WAG with the head start up against Twisted Minds.
Yeah, that's 1 point for them. Bigatron Delta not seeing anyone on Council Hall, and they are on the edge of the circle. So they will just take their time into looting up and finding probably any stragglers on their way. But we are looking at Onyx Olympus, who also doesn't have anyone in Foundation. So there's only a few instances at Kalahari. Probably they found like a different drop spot from earlier. Substitution Onyx Olympus. Hopefully Gardu can put in a lot more in this game because Onyx Olympus is not doing well. Well, it did well in the first part and half of this game.
Hans tagged up, but the shots going to be a tad bit too slow from that LNG. Peter quickly repositioning, has got to play around with here. And Hans just managed to walk away. My goodness, thought the tree could block him out, but did not know where he was damaged from. And Peter did not allow him much room to think at all. Continued the barrage of bullets, gets the point for the squad. But Vitan brings this guy right back. Heavy will be alarmed, and they're not going to be stepping anywhere near that zone for the time being.
And they'll be keeping that out of their list right now. Twisted Mind, no one in their place in the maze. Again, it will be slow because they've experienced a rough battle in this area in Kalahari from earlier, from map number 4. So I think we will have to wait on any engagement that is showing up. For armor crate, 68% that is being used to start a match. That can give it a lot of change in terms of that engagement. So let's see if WAG can put that on. But as we look into the bird's eye view, GOW quite near to Todak with Dian. Birds also a high ground view on the rest of the team.
This is a good bird's eye view for us to just get a gauge of the situation here. But he was Divine. Not going to be troubled by early engagements. I mean, we saw the chaos. We saw the pandemonium towards the final circle. So this is going to be a little bit of a slow game, especially because you've got the hook gun in their hands. You can't get it out of the vending machine. Pretty cheap. Everybody can afford it. So maneuvering around the terrain disadvantage that Kalahari used to put many of the squads into, has just really opened up the gameplay here at this map. We jump back to the bird's eye view that GOW had up against Toda earlier. Let's see if they can use this up against them. Toda just stepping right in the middle of all these players of GOW. GOW staying silent, not doing much. Trap's gonna visit him with the Trogon. AC80 can't do much. No time to respond at all for Dian.
I mean, Todak is in clear sight of GOW. Oh, so that's too much of trigger discipline for GOW at that point. They could have taken down 3 of the players of Todak. Didn't do so. For Wings, he managed back off from that move that the rest of the teams are doing. And he will be in the sights of Cyrus being brought down. And it's up to the rest to respond and put in a few more of a pressure onto WAG as GOW. But nothing's happening just yet. A revival will be put up. Todak needs to go back into play.
Yeah, a 3-way fight here. All thanks to WAG. GOW manages to survive. Todak taking that high ground advantage from GOW and Deanne. WAG forcing a player out of their side. And this is a stalemate until somebody disrupts this battle. And it might just be Heavy. Kabi, Get Nice, watching the players drop into this zone. And they want to drop by command post as well and see exactly what's going on. Raja, there's not enough time to respond. And he will get sprayed down by Demon and Squad. GOW just slowly taking control of the area.
Yeah, I mean, they are slowly taking in, and this gives more chance for the other team to rush in. But speaking of rushing, we have Onyx Olympus or Red rushing towards Expand, and Achap will be receiving damage from Jack with a Trogon, and a respawn is not enough. Jack managed to put him down.
Yeah, great response coming through from Jack. 2 players can play the Trogon at the same time, baby, he says. And he plays the Trogon a tad bit better. Catching it down on the ground. Zairu will be able to, alongside Gary, snuff out the hopes of Expand once again. Too many early exits for the squad. This might be hurting the brand a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, they did well in the previous Kalahari, but not here. It's more of stamina, or probably because they did well from map number 4, they were a little bit too confident that they can do against Onyx Olympus. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they can plan it out match after match, map after map, on what adjustment can be done. But GOW right now is still putting so much of pressure onto Todak, and 7 is the only one remaining on their side, as Traps is giving them a little bit of support from above, but it's not helping that much.
Expand didn't really get to play their Malaysian event. They got a direct qualifier to this event. Clearly they needed the practice. Clearly they needed a time out there, because these boys, you know, pretty rusty out there with their shots. But 7 will find an easy one for himself as T drops by to say hello. 7 steps out to danger zone, and Deanne from afar. AC80 just newly buffed up and ready for the battle. Can Traps get there in time for the save? Answers no. By the support back for the squad. He clips the wings right back in here to help them fly a little bit further.
Yeah, and flying in would few more players that might disrupt the battle or potential battle between the GOW and Heavy. Todak's Traps being spotted. Get Nice will not be nice. There goes ADS, and Traps managed to get away half on the HP with that blue wall, but Get Nice will not let that go.
Traps once again tagged. Good blue wall again from Traps. Get Nice far out of his comfort zone for this elimination, only because he knows he's got a little bit of a backup. So double grenade launcher. Boom. I almost got Traps, but we'll have to get it on. And the pursuit pays off. The first point for Heavy on this map.
Yeah, Get Nice, stop spinning. It's giving me a headache.
What if someone shoots my head, bro? Says Get Nice. Nobody is going to take advantage of that just yet, bro. And Heavy, I mean, they quite a long way to find 1 point for themselves. Heavy has been having a rough day, dude.
I mean, it is rough for them. I mean, they are like being followed by GOW, even Expand on the bottom 3 for today. So they really are in need of points, and 1 can so much. But RRQ right now, when the Kings of Refinery, not literally Kalahari yet, but Kings of Refinery still getting good position, the points. But Twisted Mind doing some work on Evo's Divine. Portal Go being used and probably wasted by Evo's Divine as Saming. This was Twisted Mind. Bring it on.
Yeah, long shots from afar as usual. Saming so deadly. And he's not going to be capped this time around. And the plays from the side of Twisted Minds do not go in for a very aggressive pursuit. So therefore, the portal goes safe. The team of Evo's Divine for the time being. 3 eliminations in hand. They're not looking to get super aggressive just yet. White Esports up against GOW on the other hand. GOW down by too many men. And it looks like Demon might just expire. And Deanne does get the trade from afar. Does he get the shutdown as well? Good solid blue walls pulled up. Iza cannot find the combination with the BSS. Just Groza does manage to pose enough of a threat to make sure Iza does not take advantage. And Yanbin out of nowhere flies in for the shot. Esports overwhelming GOW.
I love the aggressiveness coming from Hawaii Sports. They are putting it in a surgical move to go in against anyone. So hopefully that will be the same later on towards the end of this map. But again, being on the edge, they can plan out their approach onto next circle. This is second phase, and no one surrounding them. They do have a good chance against a fight from the outside. But speaking of outside, we have Todak and GOW, whereas GOW will go away.
Yeah,
Sorry.
GOW.
I had to put it in there.
You had to. Yeah, they did go away indeed. Todak made them, forced them to go away. 3 looking for the next circle for their continued solid performance. They're currently placed 3rd in the overall performance for day 13, which is once again very impressed squad, looking to be that miracle team out of Malaysia to qualify for the final week of play. They've got this week another day of play left, 2 more days of play next week to determine their fate. Damage King Aim God living up to his name as he adds on even more damage to that.
Yeah, I mean, Evo's Divine putting so much of damage and pressure. What Saming? Again, Saming has heard us, has heard you, but no points, no mission happening.
Thank you for your hard work, says Gade.
So I guess this is the reason why Saming is not putting in so much of elimination. It's being stolen by a lot of players. Just in the distance, no follow-up. And probably that's because of Twisted Mind not being that aggressive team compared to the previous season.
Like Gade is that guy in your own like, all right? You do most of the work and then he comes in at the final day and he says, I got it done. Sneak that one away. RRQ, 1 elimination is way too few for them. It's a good time to start raking them up. Thankfully, we're at Kalahari, which means it's still pandemonium ticking on the clock to be ticked away. 10 more teams alive and kicking. 38 players on the battlefield, and we are running out of space to play with. And once again, thankfully, this is Kalahari, so we've got a lot of elevation here. So even that small is a lot of space.
A lot of space indeed. I mean, multiple layers, more than 4 or 3. We'll have to see. I guess probably why RRQ is not getting so much of points because the circle is still within refinery. If in that area, they will be moving around, getting a few points. But as you can see, it is closing in. Will be taken down, falling from above, and a few teams will be knocking on RRQ's door.
Yeah, Hawaii Esports, that's a death blow to RRQ of their prize possession, Ma'al, the long-range death dealer. And RRQ could not go in for the save. Hawaii Esports at this point of time, they do have a launch pad as well to get themselves towards refinery, but that'll put them right above Falcons, which isn't too bad of a position to be on. And they take the drop right beside them instead.
It's a good thing they have the container because we've seen so many teams straight out in the open and then being gunned down. So that will not be happening just yet. Team Falcons waited for them to drop, and that's when they rush us in. But there's a risk that Evo's Divine from behind will target them as they move in on to what position on that platform, but it will be closing in soon, and they will be in the open on that corner of that ledge. So let's see if they can survive or probably put in so much of pressure, and they are outside of the previous zone.
Yeah, you got the container call on Hawaii Esports spot on Neptune. They made that rotation, not a single shot sustained, and they are in full health, ready for this next battle. Potentially up against, maybe distracted by Evo's Divine. Heavy driving in, straight for Hawaii Esports to say hello. My God, Hans. You know, gotta improve those parking skills, bro.
literally wrong turn. That was a wrong turn for right there. He thought he was safe from Falcons, but straight.
Well, he was safe from Falcons. But WAG losing to Nameless. Nameless managing to bag him out. Allen down on the ground. And of course, Twisted Minds, just a matter of time before they get it done, and Diamond finds the final player. WAG out once again. Too early. Twisted Minds leading everyone, but Onyx Olympus dropping by to say we want some of these points as well. EVOS Divine up against Stoda, making sure Malaysia does not have a gala day out on. EVOS both pummeling away against Team Stoda, and Bigatron gets the final bullet in the coffin with the M82B for those survival points.
Yeah, the final bullet, but the first elimination for Bigatron Delta. It's quite slow for them. They haven't met anyone to be taken down. Hopefully they will be able to take advantage of their position right now. No one surrounding them. EVOS Divine, on the other hand, being in the middle of the circle, being in the middle of next phase, might rush in onto Onyx Olympus, but Onyx Olympus has been waiting there, saving up all the resources. And they might be ready for this push, but Razor going down. RRQ slowly dwindling away from the hands of Y Esports.
Immaculate timing on the rotation from EVOS Divine, finding a moment to have that opening to rotate without being shot at. I have no idea if that was luck or just pure skills in reading the maneuvering of the other squads around this tight little spot. Y Esports now poses a great danger, tossing in all of those ice grenades by to say hello to their Indonesian brothers, but from across the battlefield, everybody shoots Bigatron down, and Falcon says, we got a shot in there as well. Serves you right, Bigatron.
That is hello and goodbye that easily. EVOS Divine right now receiving a lot of damage because of the noise that they've done. Fades onto them. Ray survived. Aim God with a sliver of health managed to heal up, but into the hands of Y Esports, backs away that easily. And hopefully EVOS Divine can survive. Apex can still be picked up.
Oh my God. Man didn't finish the job. Got a double knock, only a single elimination. The follow-up just not hitting the mark, Karoro. But great tries by him. Y Esports down at the bottom. And this might just be a tricky situation for them. They've got a good read on this circle. And they don't really need to worry about the rest of the teams. But if you build up too much of a strong maze down here, you can't run away if you do get ambushed from the back. And right now, they do not know where they're going to be attacked from because there's a platform right above them.
Yeah, Beth right there with 6 him. Probably a good chance that will save him, but it's quite far from the middle. And the middle is out in the open. It's Onyx Olympus who's already. And as you can see, Twisted Mind going down one at a time. Nameless will be the ones remaining. Team Falcons just looking at them. Overview against everyone in this area.
What? Dude, Y Esports and Onyx Olympus just rushed straight at EVOS Divine, and EVOS Divine still up and kicking. Nobody has been able to knock them down just yet. They sidestepped Y Esports. They backed away from Onyx Olympus, and now Y is fighting against Onyx Olympus. Such slippery players on this EVOS Divine is. Aim God will back away, sidestepping the grenade toss as well. Falcons up on top. Onyx Olympus, Jack trying to get that engagement. Gets that backstab. On fire down on the ground. Gary on the ground. EVOS Divine still up and running around this battlefield. My God, can they walk away with a solid booyah this time?
Aimgun right now going in for rush, still alive and kicking, but no, only a few HP remaining. Team Falcons will try to go in. Onyx Olympus, Jack will be taken down. Hua Esports against one Kiroro from Team Falcon. Looking like Team Falcons will be eliminated. Ray on a healing gameplay. No. Hua Esports wants to take it back. Vietnam brings it back for their team.
Yeah, they tried. They tried the revival gameplay. You're not gonna work out with that if you don't have your team members making sure the other players cannot top their health right back up. And unfortunately for that man, Y Esports had 4 players strong in that final circle. But I have to say, respect once again to EVOS Divine, sidestepping both Onyx Olympus and Y Esports at the same time, surviving so long in the middle of those two teams, being the aggressors from the back. But Y Esports managed this so well. We were talking about their fall from grace. Great start from week 1. Week 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But this is the strong comeback we were looking for, and they're right back in it.
Yeah, they're back in it, and this is the final moment where we've seen Y Esports survive that. But before this all happened, we saw as well, I guess it will be in highlight later on, we saw how Onyx Olympus, Jack, just jumped in above Team Falcons the moment they dropped in on the bottom of those containers, and he was getting elimination, knockdowns after knockdowns. And I'm really excited to see how many Onyx Olympus get in that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, Onyx Olympus, the way they were maneuvering around was just absolutely phenomenal. And if they started things off, of course, up against Expand. Expand just didn't have enough firepower on their side to deal with the Indonesians. And as a matter of fact, at this point of time, I really don't know who Expand can, solve